A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tenderay Beef. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. Just think of a big, juicy Kroger Tenderay steak, broiled to a beautiful, luscious brown. Think of cutting into the rich red meat, of tasting the tenderest steak of your life. That's Kroger Tenderay Beef, the one beef that's always fresh, always tender. Yes, it's always fresh, always tender, because it's tendered by the original Kroger Tenderay method. You know it's tender because by the Kroger Tenderay method, the top U.S. government grades of beef are made naturally tender without aging. You know it's always fresh because by the Kroger Tenderay method, there's no need for wasteful aging, no time for loss of savory juice. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Yet Kroger Tenderay beef costs no more than ordinary beef. And just think, Kroger guarantees it's the best eating beef you've ever served or your money back. So visit your Kroger store right away. Get a tender roast or a big, juicy Kroger Tenderay steak. Remember, when it's Kroger Tenderay beef, you know that no other beef so fresh can be so tender. Get Kroger Tenderay beef at your Kroger store and get the finest beef value in town. And now, Hearts in Harmony. It's early evening in Rossville, and early evening in the Gibbs home is usually a quiet and a happy time, when the men of the house come wearily home from work and the women happily greet them. But two disturbing elements entered the Gibbs home in the last few hours. The first was Helen Burroughs, Freddie Lang's rather unladylike acquaintance of some years ago. The second was Windy Day. It's about Helen and Windy that Penny Gibbs and Nora Lang are talking, as Penny says,
"Oh, I don't blame Helen for being upset when no one was at the train to meet her, Nora, but she isn't still angry about it, is she?"
Well, she's up in her room sulking about it right now, Penny. Oh, Crickets, I can't understand what happened to Freddie. When he left her, he said he was going to the station to meet her.
Well, he obviously didn't and had no intention of it either. Nora, if car trouble or something like that had delayed him, he'd have phoned us by now. He's been gone several hours, hasn't he?
Yes, about 4. Oh, Penny, I'm worried. Freddie said he wouldn't have anything to do with Helen when she got here, and he's keeping his promise right from the start.
Nora, I don't understand Freddie. He agreed to let you invite her to Rossville, and now he's changed his mind.
I don't know whether he agreed to or not, or whether I just argued him into it. He was never very happy about having her. Never very happy. Did I say he wasn't happy about it in the slightest?
Well, Helen is certainly not going to have a very pleasant stay here. Freddie doesn't at least pretend to be on good terms with her.
Well, Penny, Helen hasn't had very much education, but she's not the least bit stupid. And she'd see through any pretense, and she'd be hurt.
Yeah, I know I would be under the circumstances.
Yes, but you wouldn't do what Helen would do about being hurt.
What do you mean, darling?
Well, I know now what Freddie meant when he said that Helen could be dangerous. She has a violent temper, Penny. Oh, she tries to control it, I'm sure, but she can't. And when she's hurt, she loses her temper and wants to hurt back. Crickets, Penny, I can tell she knows how to hurt back, too.
Oh, darling, she's probably had to know how. I guess all she's known all her life is meanness. Meanness and cruelty.
I know. That's why I wanted her to come back to Rossville. I wanted to show her, Penny, that when she hurts people, they don't try to hurt her back, but forgive her. I want to show her that she has friends. At least 2 friends, anyway.
Well, Freddie certainly isn't acting like a friend.
Oh, Crickets, he's got to her. There's no telling what Helen might do.
Well, talk to him when he gets home. Or I'll talk to him if you like.
No, I'll try first, Penny, and then if I can't do it... Oh, Crickets, what's that?
Well, that noise came from Helen's room, I think.
Oh, I know it did. It sounds as if she's throwing...
Nora, do you want me to go up?
No, I'll go up and talk to her. I think I'll think of something to calm her down.
All right, darling.
When Freddie gets home, he'd better have a good excuse for not meeting her at the train, and that's one thing I'm sure of.
Freddie, it's about time...
Do I look like Freddie?
Oh, Joel, come in.
I have just a minute, Penny. I have an appointment with a doctor here in town. A doctor I might share a private practice with.
Joel, you are not going into private practice. You're going to stay at the Heatherton Hospital.
I'm leaving Heatherton Hospital, my beautiful but argumentative young lady. Leaving it as stated and scheduled, and that's all there is to it.
No, that's not all there is to it. It's a lot more. Look, Joel, I won't let you throw away the opportunity
It's
you
too
worked
late,
for.
Penny. It's already thrown. And right into the arms of some other doctor who no doubt deserves the chance far better than I ever did.
I could hate you.
Could you?
No. No, that's the trouble. I can't. But I certainly should. I shouldn't even speak to you.
You and I are always doing things we shouldn't, aren't we?
Joel, if you don't go back to Dr. Weston and tell him to forget your resignation, I really am
Penny,
going
please, let's not talk about it. It's a closed case and one that's going to stay closed.
Well, not if I have anything to say about it.
Oh, believe me, I appreciate your interest, and I can understand your point of view. But when you see the thing the way I do, well, you'll understand why I'm leaving the hospital and say no more about it. So pretend now that you understand and, well, say no more about it.
I can't very well pretend the impossible, can I?
Now, look, you have troubles enough of your own without adding me to them.
Oh, how do you know about my troubles? Have I given you the list?
I didn't know you had a lot of them. I thought there was just one current problem. Young Windy Day.
Oh, you know about Windy.
Yes, I saw Angela Brill at the hospital this morning, and she told me all about it.
Yeah, I did tell Angela about Windy. The situation is fantastic, isn't it?
Well, for a simple case of puppy love, it certainly has complications.
Just one complication, Joel. I can't open the community center and have the youngsters of this town ignore it. And that's exactly what they're going to do as long as they think I took Wendy away from Hazel Peters.
I really want to laugh about the whole thing. You know, it's really funny,
I thought it was funny, too, at first, but the consequences will be nothing to joke about.
Somehow or other, you ought to be able to explain to Wendy that you're, well, already asked for and given.
Oh, Joel, I thought about that. I even thought of having you tell him that... Well, I couldn't ask you to do that unless...
Unless it were true.
Yeah.
I know. I'd volunteer to go to Wendy and say that you were... Well, that I saw you first or something and that we had plans. But I'd rather it were the truth. And well, there's not much chance that it ever will be the truth, is there?
I don't know why you say that.
Just a feeling I have, that's all. Oh, don't worry about Wendy. Some way or other, you'll get him straightened out and on his way back to Hazel Peters.
Yes, but how? And how am I going to do it before next Wednesday?
Well, what's next Wednesday?
That's the day we're opening the center. We set the day only this morning.
Oh.
Mayor's going to be there to make an address, too. All the important city officials. The leaders of civic clubs and welfare societies of the town and county, everybody. Everybody but the people for whom the center's being opened. Oh, Joel, it's going to be awful.
Well, I should say it is. Humiliating, to say the least. But why don't you postpone the opening?
I can't postpone it again. It's been postponed time after time as it is. It'll become a joke if we put off the opening again.
I see.
And Mrs. Carton will be there. Joel, what'll she think if she doesn't see one youngster at the ceremonies? Not one, except Wendy.
And he's far from a youngster in your mind these days, isn't he?
Oh, he's becoming a monster. A hideous, lovesick monster with... Oh, no. It isn't fair for me to think that about Wendy. He's as sweet as he can be and awfully cute, Joel. As a matter of fact, you should hear some of the things he says to me and the way he says them.
Well, maybe I should go to Wendy for lessons. I haven't impressed you half as much as Wendy.
Oh, no, don't you dare do that. I much prefer the impressions you have made. Oh, golly, why am I laughing? I still haven't solved the problem of Wendy, and I don't know how I ever will.
Oh, it'll be solved. All problems are. But it might take time.
Yeah, time is something I don't have, unfortunately. And when it is solved, there'll be another one. You'll be next. Yep, I'll have to take you in hand.
No. Let's not get back to that, Penny. Please.
All right, look. Tell me just one thing. Will you tell me why you're leaving Heatherton? Why you're giving up...
Penny, I've as good as told you why. You're the reason.
I'm not the reason. I can't be. It doesn't make sense when you say that I am.
You are the reason, though. But you wouldn't be. And I wouldn't be leaving Heatherton if it weren't for the fact that Johnny Keat is...
Oh. So that's it, is it?
I didn't intend to say it. Now that I have... Yes. Yes, he is the reason.
Oh, Joel, I don't know whether it's because you're modest or silly. Or maybe a little bit of both, but There's no reason in the world for you to...
Penny, I happen to be in love with you. There aren't words to say how much. And I think that someday you might fall in love with me. But Johnny Keith scares me. He meant a great deal to you once, and I'm afraid he will again.
Oh, Joe. Darling, listen to me a minute. You're very sweet to love me so much that you give up everything in hopes that... Well, in hopes that someday I may love you, too. But don't let Johnny Keith frighten you or worry you or force you to give up anything for my sake or for your own. Johnny's just a friend of mine, a perfectly harmless friend. Nora, someone's at the door.
I'm answering the door now, Penny. Are you home to everyone? Everyone but Wendy. I took that for granted.
Hi, Nora. I forgot my key. Sorry.
Freddie Lang, where have you been? Why didn't you meet Helen Burroughs at the station?
Oh, she's here, is she?
Yes.
Well, I didn't get to the station in time. I was mixed up on the train schedule, I guess. I got there 2 hours after her train came in.
Cricket, can you just guess you were mixed up? Freddie, where have you been all this time? Not that I care, but Helen does. She wants to know why you didn't meet her, and I think she has a right to know.
Well, I've been out looking for a room for Helen. And I found one for her, too.
Freddie, she has a room here. I think you'd better go see.
Nora, I told you before Helen got back here to Rossville that she's not staying in the same house that I stay in.
She's staying here, Freddie. I want her to, and so does Penny.
Nora, I got her a room on Lawrence Street. She's going to be very...
Freddie, that's just about the worst neighborhood in town.
Helen will feel right at home in it. Now go on upstairs and tell her to bring down her suitcase, and I'll drive her over to the joint.
Freddie, I told you, Helen is staying here. We invited her to Rossville, and
Nora, you invited her.
We invited her, and we're going to be nice to her.
Look, Nora, I'm sorry, darling. I don't want to do this. You think it's because I'm sore at you or something like that, and that's not so. Nora, I love you more than... Well, there's nothing I'll ever do to hurt you, Nora. On purpose, that is. But listen, if Helen Burroughs stays here tonight, I don't.
Freddie, Helen is staying here tonight and every night until our own house is ready.
Nora, darling, I mean this. I won't stay here if she does. Now, does she stay?
Freddie, we have to let her stay here. It's only fair.
Okay, Nora, if that's the way you want it. I'll see you.
Freddie, where are you going?
I don't know. Maybe Lawrence Street is the right kind of a neighborhood for me, too. I sure don't think I belong around here. Good night, Nora.
Freddie! 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 Oh, Freddie!
So Freddie Lang has walked out on his young wife, but all because of Helen Burroughs. Is this the beginning of the end for this young couple who so far have been so happy? And how will Penny solve the problem of Windy Day and convince Joel not to leave Heatherton Hospital? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. Here's a sight to thrill any man. A sizzling hot Kroger Tenderay steak, buttery tender and deliciously fresh. When it's Kroger Tenderay beef, you know it's always tender. Because by the original Kroger Tenderay method, the top U.S. government grades of beef are made naturally tender without aging. You know it's always fresh. Because by the Kroger Tenderay method, there's no need for wasteful aging, no time for loss of savory juice. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Get Kroger Tenderay beef right away. And notice that Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. You see, before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. And remember, when it's Kroger Tenderay beef, you know it's the finest beef value in town. So, ladies, go to your neighborhood Kroger store, the only place you can get this exclusive Kroger value, Kroger Tenderay beef. Buy a fresh and tender Kroger Tenderay steak or roast. And remember that the Kroger cut gives you more meat, less waste. That means you get more meat for your money. You get the finest beef value in town when you buy Kroger Tenderay beef at your Kroger store. Tune in again Monday, same time, same station, for another exciting transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You've just completed an investigation on an East Los Angeles murder case. You get a hotshot call. A shooting in a liquor store on Pico Boulevard. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, February 16th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Homicide Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the interrogation room, and it was 8:46 p.m. when we got to room 42. Homicide.
You think he'll cop out?
I don't know. Probably won't make much difference anyway.
Yeah. Mel keeping the gun, that was his big mistake.
Yeah.
Wonder why she gave him the chance.
What do you mean?
Well, he'd beaten her a couple of times before, and neighbors all said so.
Yeah.
You'd think she'd have walked out on him.
I think that's what she was trying to do.
Well, she should have tried sooner. You got any plans for dinner?
No, not especially. Why?
Well, I guess I'll grab a bite with you. Faye said she's not going to want any dinner. She'll fix something for the kids and told me to eat downtown.
Well, that's a switch, isn't it?
Sure is. Tell you the truth, Joe, she's kind of sore at me. This is her way of getting even.
Is that so?
Yeah. Woman expects a man to remember everything. Let him slip up just once, it's the end of the world.
Is that right?
Birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day, Christmas, Lincoln's birth, everything.
What'd you forget this time?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I knew there was something eating her when I got home that night. She didn't say a word until the next morning. Then she hands me a tie. Stripes like that brown and red one from last Christmas, only this one is maroon and gray.
Yeah.
Said she didn't want to give it to me on Valentine's Day because she knew how embarrassed I'd be. You know, on account of not having a present for her.
Well, why don't you get her some flowers or some candy you can make up for it?
She told me not to, Joe. Said she didn't want anything unless I thought of it myself and on the right day. See, you don't understand women, Joe. You can't make up for a mistake. They won't let you.
Hot shot, I got it.
For us?
Liquor store out in Pico.
Yeah?
Dead body. We drove out to the Evandale liquor store on West Pico Boulevard. The owner, Cecil Evandale, was lying on the floor behind the counter. He'd been shot through the chest, and he was already dead when the body was discovered. A team from robbery detail and Sergeant J. Allen and a crew from the crime lab arrived a few minutes after we did. They began their investigation, and we talked to the patrol car officers who found Evandale's body.
We were just cruising by, and we saw the front door standing wide open. No sign of Evandale, so we thought maybe we ought to look around.
Yeah.
Came inside, gave the place a once-over, spotted him just like he is now.
You're sure he's the man who owned the store, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's Evandale, all right.
He's had trouble before.
How's that?
A couple of boys held him up, must be about a month ago now. We answered the call.
I see.
Yeah, picked up the same night. Evandale had their license number.
You got a conviction?
First-degree robbery.
Well, it can't be them if they're in the joint.
I'll check on it, Joe.
Right.
There was another hold-up. They didn't get away with much.
Oh?
Cash register was open when we came in. Still full. $50, $75, that's my guess.
Well, maybe something scared them off.
The street was empty. No cars, nobody.
Funny they left all that money just lying there in the drawer.
That's not the only funny thing around here.
Who you got, Jay?
Found the casing. Take a look.
Mm-hmm. It's 38, huh?
Yeah. Slug went right through him. In his chest, out the back. Right through. Clean as a whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Should have got me, Buffalo.
What do you mean?
The slug.
Yeah?
Can't find a trace of it.
Frank came back from the telephone with the information that the two men who had previously robbed the Evandale liquor store were now serving their sentences in San Quentin. While Sergeant J. Allen and the crew from the crime lab continued to search for the missing slug and any other physical evidence, we canvassed the area for somebody who might have heard the shooting. 9:53 p.m. We found a drugstore in the next block that was still open for business.
Fountain's closed. That's what you're after.
No, sir, we'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Talk? What about?
We're police officers. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Police, huh?
That's right.
Thought I heard sirens a while back. What's been going on around here?
Well, there was some trouble at the liquor store down the street.
Cease Evandale's place?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have let it happen.
Beg pardon?
You're police officers, ain't you?
Yes, sir, we are.
He was robbed just a few weeks ago.
You should have figured somebody tried again. You should have been watching him, making sure he was all right.
Well, it's a pretty big town, sir. There's a lot to watch.
Too big, if you ask me. Why don't they go home?
What's that?
All them folks who keep moving to L.A. 25 years ago, I come here. Things were a lot different then. Man could drive down the streets, find a place to park his car. There was room to move around in. Elbow room.
Mm-hmm.
More people coming all the time. Getting so crowded a man can't breathe.
Yes, sir.
You see anybody who might have done the shooting?
Tonight, you mean?
Yes, sir. Anybody suspicious?
Nobody suspicious come in here. Not since I got back from supper, leastways.
When was that?
7:30. Right around in there.
Uh-huh.
Don't think I've had more than a half a dozen customers since supper time. Miss Jacobs, her youngsters got the croup, sold her some cough syrup. Ought to relieve it some. Then there was a couple of boys, bought Cokes, read magazines.
Well, how old were they?
10, 12, just shavers.
Uh-huh.
Fella come in for a carton of cigarettes. Don't know his name, but he lives around here somewheres. Been in a half dozen times before. Don't recall anybody else.
Well, how about out on the street?
Hmm?
Did anybody walk by or hang around who doesn't belong in the neighborhood?
How the heck would I know? You can't even see the street from in here when it gets dark.
Yes, sir.
Black as pitch out there. Been after 'em for the last 5 years to put up a street lamp. Been begging 'em. What do they do? Just raise my taxes and spend the money on freeways and gadgets so as more strangers will come flooding in on us. Whole darn shooting could have took place right there on my sidewalk. I wouldn't have been able to see it.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks anyway.
I say, wait a minute. Come to think of it, I did spot a couple of fellas. Acted kind of funny, too, like they didn't want me to see 'em. You know what I mean?
I think so.
It was then when I was walking home to supper. No, it was when I was on my way back.
That'd be about 7:30?
Give or take a couple of minutes. Well, they were just standing there in the doorway, kind of. Turned their backs toward me as I walked past them.
Could you describe them for us?
I said they turned their backs.
Yes, sir.
Not that it made no never mind. It's so darn dark out there, I couldn't describe them if they'd been coming at me head on.
Uh-huh. You got any idea how tall they were?
Medium height, I guess.
How were they dressed?
Didn't notice. Except for one of them.
Yes, sir.
Jacket he was wearing. Notice that. Remember thinking it was so loud you could see it in the dark. Kind of plaid. You know big crisscrosses?
Mm-hmm. What color was it?
Must have been light. Some kind of light color. Tan, maybe with green in it. Not sure.
Now, is there anything else you can tell us about these two men?
I think I've done pretty good to give you that much.
Yes, sir, you have. Thank you.
I'm not saying they had anything to do with shooting Cease Evansdale. You understand?
Yeah, we understand.
It's up to you to find out who did it and bring them to justice.
Yes, sir.
Don't know what's getting into this town. Man ain't safe in his own store. More crime all the time. More criminals. Wasn't like this 25 years ago.
Maybe not.
Why should there be more now?
Well, you gave us the reason.
Huh?
More people. $11:36 p.m. We went back to the liquor store. The body had been moved to the county morgue. Jay Allen told us that he and his crew had searched the walls, the floor, the furniture. There was no physical evidence and still no trace of the slug that had killed Cecil Evandale. The next morning, February 17th, we again returned to the neighborhood and questioned shopkeepers in the vicinity. None of them had any leads. 12:05 p.m., we went back to the office.
Well, I guess you were right, Joe.
What about?
Faye, when I got home last night, she was expecting candy or flowers or something.
I thought she told you not to buy her anything.
Yeah, but that didn't keep her from being disappointed when she didn't get anything.
Oh, what'd she say?
She didn't say. She just looked.
I got it. Homicide, Friday. Yes, that's right. No, we're on that. When? I see. Might tie in, yeah. Give me the address. Okay, right. Thank you. Office just got a report from a clinic out on Wilshire. A man came in to see him this morning.
Yeah?
Had a .38 slug in his chest. We drove out to a small medical center a few blocks west of Vermont Avenue, and we went into the offices of Dr. J.Y. Springer.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon. Dr. Springer in?
Do you have an appointment?
The police officers.
Oh.
The doctor busy?
Well, he does have a patient with him right now.
I see. We'll wait.
I'll tell him you're here. I'm sure it won't be long.
Thank you. Might as well sit down.
Yeah. Do you think we're on the right track, Joe?
I don't know. That slug isn't in the liquor store, that's for sure. Jay says there isn't a mark on the walls.
Yeah. Sure had to hit something.
Or somebody.
Yeah. You want a magazine?
No, thanks.
This is a brand new issue. See right here? February.
Mm-hmm.
New magazine in the doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What's the matter?
It's a medical check.
The doctor will see you now.
Thank you.
In here.
Thank you.
Dr. Springer?
That's right.
Police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do?
How you do, sir?
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I understand you took a bullet out of a man's chest this morning.
Oh, that.
Mind telling us about it?
No, not a bit. Young man came into the office. Must have been around 10 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
He told me that he and a friend had been looking at some guns last night. One of them went off accidentally. I examined the wound. It was quite superficial. The bullet had barely penetrated the skin.
Mm-hmm.
I removed it, put on a bandage. That's all there was to it.
I see.
Very superficial. Didn't even need instruments. He could have squeezed it out himself if he tried.
Was he a regular patient of yours, Doctor?
No, I'd never seen him before. He said he was just passing through L.A.
Could you describe him for us?
Well, he was in his late teens or early 20s. Dark hair, stocky, weighed about 170, I judge.
How tall?
5'7", 5'8".
Mm-hmm. Any distinguishing marks or scars that you recall?
No, nothing like that.
How was he dressed?
Slacks, sport shirt, loud jacket.
Loud?
Yes, a plaid of some sort, green and brown. The shirt was open at the collar, no tie.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you called in, you reported that his name was Clyde Beaton.
That's right.
You think it might be his real name, Doctor?
I'm sure of it.
Oh.
You have to be very careful whenever you treat a bullet wound. I always ask for identification.
Yes, sir. It's a good idea.
The young fellow was a little embarrassed at first. He didn't have any.
No driver's license?
It was in his other suit. I told him he'd have to stay here until I could contact the police.
What did he do then?
He fished through his pockets, found a letter he'd recently received. I took the name from the envelope, Clyde Beaton. Seemed sufficient identification under the circumstances.
Did you get Beaton's address?
He said he was staying at the Crown Prince Hotel on Sunset.
Is that what the letter said?
I'm afraid I don't remember. It was the name I was chiefly interested in.
I understand.
Did you keep the slug, Doctor? The bullet you took out of his chest?
No, I'm afraid not. He wanted it for a souvenir.
Well, your report said it was a .38.
That's right, 38 caliber.
You sure of that?
I've handled guns all my life. It's a hobby.
I see.
Is this a serious matter, Sergeant?
I'm afraid we don't know yet.
The wound was very superficial.
Yes, sir.
I remember telling him how lucky he was that the bullet hadn't gone in deeper.
Well, he could have been luckier
How's that?
if it hadn't hit him at all. We drove over to the Crown Prince Hotel. They told us that no one by the name of Clyde Beaton had been registered during the past month. They also told us that they had no guests who answered the suspect's description. We checked the name through R&I. They had nothing on them. We also checked the telephone books, city directories. We came up with 2 Clyde Beatons. The first one was an elderly man who lived on Highland Avenue. We interviewed him and learned that he suffered from arthritis and had been bedridden for the past 2 years. He had no living relatives except for a daughter who kept house for him. The second Clyde Beaton lived on Washington Boulevard. We drove out to the address. It was a 2-story brick and stucco apartment house.
Yes?
Mr. Beaton in?
No, he isn't.
You know where we can find him?
What for?
We're police officers.
What?
This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Are you Mrs. Beaton?
Yes,
This is Clyde Beaton.
that's right.
Could you tell us where your husband is, please?
Well, he's not here.
Yes, ma'am. Where is he?
Chicago.
Oh.
Been there since last Friday.
You sure of that?
What's this all about?
Police business.
Do you mind if we come in for a minute?
Well, no, I guess not. We can't talk very loud. The baby's asleep.
Yes, ma'am.
You say your husband's in Chicago.
Since last Friday.
Business trip?
Oh, in a way. He's a plastic salesman. Company's having a convention.
I see.
He did a bigger gross last year than any other West Coast representative, and that's why they picked him to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an honor. He's only been with him a couple of years, practically the youngest man on the force.
Yes, ma'am.
He even had a dinner last night. Gave him a plaque.
Last night?
He called me afterwards. Long distance.
From Chicago.
Don't you believe me?
Yes, ma'am. Does your husband have a gun, Miss Beaton?
What?
A pistol or a revolver?
Well,
Well, does he, Miss Beaton?
yes, he has a gun.
Do you take it with him?
No, of course not.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he take a gun to Chicago?
Would you get it for us, please?
Oh, it's in the bedroom. Bureau drawer. The baby's there.
We'd like to see it, Miss Beaton.
All right.
Oh, convention in Chicago. Should be easy to check.
Yeah, too easy.
Hmm?
Well, if the guy was setting up an alibi, he'd pick something tougher to crack, wouldn't he?
You think we've struck out?
Could be.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, the gun isn't there.
Oh?
I looked all through the bureau.
I don't know what could have happened to it.
Well, maybe your husband did take it with him.
I packed all his things. He couldn't have.
I see.
Well, we've always kept it in the top drawer where it'd be handy.
Mm-hmm.
You know where your husband's staying, Miss Beaton?
The Waterfield Hotel. I've never been in Chicago, but it's right downtown someplace.
What's the name of the company he works for?
Federated Plastics. Can't you tell me why you're asking all these questions?
We just like to get in touch with him.
What about?
Do you have a picture we can take with us?
Of Clyde?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I suppose so, but I'd like to know why. Is he in any trouble?
Not if he's been in Chicago for the last few days.
Of course that's where he's been. I talked to him just last night.
We have the picture now?
Let's see what I can find. I think there are a couple of snapshots in the desk. Would that be all right?
Yes, ma'am. Be fine.
When's your husband due back?
Day after tomorrow.
Is he flying?
Mm-hmm. I don't know which flight, though. He said he sent me a telegram. Here's a picture. Took it last summer on our vacation up in Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
My brother Tim's in it, too. Will that make any difference?
No, it's perfectly all right.
That's Clyde, sitting on the rock.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the plaid coat.
We took the picture with us, and we stopped by Dr. Springer's clinic. His nurse told us he was operating at St. Thomas Hospital. She said she'd call as soon as he was free. We went back to the office, and we sent a teletype to the Chicago PD requesting information about Clyde Beaton, supposedly registered at the Waterfield Hotel. 2 hours later, at 5:43 p.m., Chicago reported that a man answering Beaton's description and using his name was staying at the Waterfield. They also confirmed the fact that he'd attended a convention dinner the previous evening.
He sure comes up looking good.
Sure does.
Do we check him out?
Well, we better talk to him when he gets back in town, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Homicide, Friday. Yes, ma'am. How long will he be there? I see. Would you ask him to wait, please? Right away. Thank you. Doctor's back in his office.
You still want to show him this picture?
So far, it looks like we're 100% wrong.
Yeah.
Can't get any worse. We drove out to Dr. Springer's office, and we showed him the snapshot of Clyde Beaton.
Mm-hmm. That's him.
You sure, Doctor?
No doubt about it. That's the young man I treated this morning.
His wife says he's in Chicago.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
He does fit your description.
Even the coat.
Coat?
Well, yes, sir. Isn't that the one you told us he was wearing? See there? The plaid?
But he isn't wearing... Oh, I see what you mean.
What?
The other chap in the picture. Yes, I believe that is the same coat.
Wait, I don't follow you, Doctor.
This is the young man who had the bullet in his chest, the one standing up wearing the leather jacket.
Mm-hmm.
But when he came to see me this morning,
yes, sir,
he had on this other man's coat.
Dr. Springer was positive in his identification of Mrs. Beaton's brother. 7:28 p.m. We again interviewed Mrs. Beaton.
Oh, it's you again.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want now?
Just a couple more questions.
You got me so nervous before, I just didn't know what to do. I had to telephone Clyde all the way to Chicago. Make sure he was all right.
We're sorry about that, ma'am.
It cost us a fortune in phone bills. He said the police back there had been bothering him, too. He couldn't imagine why.
We don't want to cause you any trouble.
Well, that doesn't help any.
Would you take another look at this picture, Miss Beaton?
What for? I gave it to you.
Yes, ma'am. You said that the other man was your brother. Is that right?
What about him?
What's his name, please?
Tim.
His last name?
Larkin. Tim Larkin.
Well, now, does the coat that your husband's wearing in the picture belong to him or to your brother?
It's Clyde's coat, of course. He's wearing it.
Is it in the house now?
No, I don't know where it is. Cleaner's, I guess. Wasn't here when I packed Clyde's bag last week.
Your brother live in L.A.?
Yes.
Where about?
Well, he lived with us until a few weeks ago, and then he and a friend of his took an apartment over on Bellwood Avenue.
You know the number?
261 West.
What's his friend's name?
What's Bill Dressingham? Went to college together.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Tim came to California to go to school. Our folks live back in South Dakota.
I see.
He did all right the first couple of years, but something happened last semester. He just sort of lost interest and quit school, both him and Bill. Got jobs and rented this apartment. I guess they're making good money. It's a very nice place.
Yeah.
It isn't Tim, is it?
Yeah.
Well, the reason you've been coming back and forth here all day.
We don't know yet.
Well, if anything's happened, it'll be my fault. I'm supposed to be responsible for Tim while he's in California, but the folks don't know he isn't going to school anymore. They think he's still living with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's the baby of the family. He just turned 21. Thought I'd wait until Mom and Dad realized he's a grown man. Then I'd tell him he's on his own. Thought I'd wait till then.
Maybe you waited too long. 1:15 p.m. We went over to the Bellwood address Mrs. Beaton had given us. We found a card on one of the doors with the names Beaton and Dressingham on it.
Yeah, who is it?
Open up.
What a big McGilla.
All right, get your hands against the wall.
Huh?
Police officers, move. Turn around.
You okay? Come on, son. He's all right. He's not heavy, Joe.
All right, what's your name?
Tim Larkin.
Unbutton your shirt.
What for?
Your shirt, unbutton it.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get that bandage?
I fell down.
Come on, where'd you get it?
Fell down, I said.
You see a doctor?
No.
How do you know it isn't serious?
It's getting better.
You didn't see a doctor?
No.
Well, we've got one we'd like you to see.
What are you talking about?
Dr. Springer.
Oh,
You ever hear of him?
I guess so.
Well?
We were just horsing around, Bill and me. Fooling with a gun.
Who's Bill?
Fellow I live with.
Go ahead.
Gun went off. Bullet caught me in the chest, that's all.
Where's the gun?
What difference does it make?
Where is it?
Closet.
All right, you stay put.
I'll check.
Where were you last night?
What time?
All of it.
Here.
All evening?
Yes, sir.
Found it, Joe.
Well,
38. Found this, too.
this your coat, Larkin?
No.
Whose is it?
Brother-in-law's.
Who's the gun belong to?
Him?
Did he give it to you?
Borrowed it.
Borrow the coat, too, did you?
Yeah.
Where were you last night?
I said before, right here.
Been over on Pico lately?
No.
You sure of that?
I'm sure.
This coat was.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, come on, son. You might as well tell us.
Tell you what.
We got a shell casing
Yeah?
from a 38. We found it in the liquor store last night.
So?
The owner was killed.
Lots of 38s around.
Be real easy to check your gun against the casing we found. Well?
Come on, Larkin.
Guess you'll find out anyway.
All right, tell us.
I was there.
Evandale Liquor Store.
Yeah, me and Bill. We was going to hold up the joint, that's all. Just hold him up.
Go ahead.
Bill had the gun. I didn't have nothing to do with that part. He was holding the gun on the old geezer, and I went around behind to get at the cash register.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened. I don't know what. Maybe Bill was squeezing too hard on the trigger. Maybe he got scared. I don't know.
Yeah.
The gun went off. The old guy fell down. Same time I knew, I felt a little pain here in my chest. Bullet must have gone through him and hit me.
Yeah.
Bill got all panicky. Turned around and started running. I stuck right on his heels.
Where's Bill now?
Bar down the street. Went out for a beer.
Is he carrying a gun?
No, sir. This is the only one we got.
All right. Let's go.
Oh, you understand that I didn't have nothing to do with the shooting. You understand that, don't you? It was Bill that pulled the trigger. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I wasn't even involved.
Yeah, well, we don't see it that way.
Huh?
You ended up with a slug.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 14th, trial was held in Department 93, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. William Seaton Dressingham and Timothy Wilkes Larkin were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. The jury returned a recommendation of leniency, and the suspects are now serving life terms at the State Penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
The following is transcribed.
No, it isn't.
The following is transcribed.
No, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is.
It is not.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
It is, too.
It is not.
It is.
It isn't.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The following is not transcribed.
This week, the Major League Baseball season opened. In keeping with this, the American Broadcasting Company brings you the first foul ball of the season. It's the Jack Webb Show in its 5th consecutive strikeout. Nothing new has been added. The Ragged will play tonight, but without their director, Phil Bavero, who only confused the men anyway. That spiritual singer, Clancy Hayes, of the firm of Haig and Haig and Hayes, will conduct his usual contest with the orchestra. She's young, she's pretty, she sings. That's 3 runs for our side, vocalist Nora McNamara. John Galbraith, an Oakland boy, and the only argument we can think of against the Bay Bridge, will play rats and second lieutenants and spooky people, and, oh yes, a wonderful gal with a wonderful voice has made a terrible mistake tonight. Midge Williams has agreed to set her career back 10 years with a guest appearance on the Jack Webb Show. My name is Jordan, and I'm going to find a nice, quiet room until this thing blows over. Why don't you do the same?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are all our listeners out there? Both of you. John Galbraith, put your glasses on so you can find the microphone and come on over here, will you?
Oh, Jack, my, boy, that's certainly a healthy crop of freckles you picked up in the San Francisco sunshine.
What do you mean, freckles? Those are the holes in the microphone. Put them on, will you?
Yeah. Hey, but of course, how stupid of me, Jack. Your head doesn't say ABC on it, does it?
Neither do yours, John. Don't we have a grand studio audience here tonight, John? Do you know who these boys are?
Who are the girls?
Finally got those... Oh, you finally got those glasses on, huh, John? Well, these men are 200 Army patients from Letterman General Hospital here in San Francisco. And most of them have only been in this country 4 days. Some of them 1 day.
Jack, who are the girls?
I think we ought to have some ruffles and flourishes for the generals here tonight.
Who are the girls?
Welcome home, generals.
Who are the girls?
The girls, John. Oh, say. Yes. There's 75 hostesses from the Oak Street USO.
Aren't they, though?
Yeah, well, I guess we ought to have some ruffles and flourishes for them, too, you know?
Yeah.
They've already got the ruffles. Let's just have the flourishes, shall we? That is the first time that those guys have ever gotten together since we went on the air. I don't...
Presenting...
A page torn from the private files of Slim Slade, Western band leader.
We return to the little western town of Howdyville, where a group of citizens are talking. Howdyville, nobody quite knows how it got its name.
Howdy.
Slim Slade, just a poor old cowpoke out on the plains of Howdyville.
Hey, Slim, what you doing out there?
Oh, just poking around the cows.
Well, come on over here. Got a letter for you with a city writing on it.
Letter with city writing. Didn't know nobody I knowed could write. Don't make no difference, though. I can't read.
Well, you don't have to, Slim. I done read it.
Oh, what does it say?
Oh, it don't say nothing, Slim. It's just a letter.
Well, I don't mean talk say. I mean read say.
Well, why don't you talk, say what you mean say?
Yeah.
It's from your brother.
Oh, that's Slick.
That's right. Signed Slick Slade.
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. I'm going to get the boys. Hey, weasel, fox, and snake. Sounds like a zoo, don't it? Come on over here, boys. Hey, anybody seen Enchilada Gomez?
See, Slade, I'm over here taking a little fiesta.
That's siesta.
See.
Come on over here, boys.
Well, howdy, Slim. Howdy.
Say, I got a letter from my brother in Hawaii.
Slim, I believe that's pronounced Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. I never was much good in them European names.
Well, go ahead, Weasel. Here's the letter.
Yeah, Weasel, what do it say?
Why, don't say nothing, Slim. It's just a letter.
Well, I don't mean talk say. I mean read say.
Why don't you talk say what you mean say? It's from your brother.
Daggone, I know that.
Well, the letter says...
I thought you...
Quiet, Slim. Dear friend brother, I'm making lots of money. I never knowed when I left Fort Worth there was so doggone much money in the world. I'm making lots of money.
Doggone, brother.
Doggone, brother. Money's one thing I got plenty of. Like Ma said, money can't buy friends. But who wants friends when you got this much money?
Doggone, brother sure must have struck it rich.
Doggone, brother, I sure struck it rich. I'm making plenty of money. I got myself a Western band, and we play Western music.
That's a novelty.
And we're all making lots of money over here in Hawaii. We call the Western band Slick Slade and his Hilo Monsters. That is all for now on account of I have run out of gold paper which I write on, and besides, my 24-karat diamond pen point done busted. Your friend, your brother, Slick. P.S. I sure am making lots of money.
Brother Slick is right. We're going to do the same thing. We're all going to organize a Western band.
Good idea, Slim.
See, Slade, I think we better do it banana.
That's manana.
See.
Come on, saddle up, boys. We're going to ride to New York. I'm going to write the tunes on the way. All right, boys, come on, move in. We're going to rehearse a spell. Now, here's the tune I wrote. Music and notes by me. It's called, this will kill you, When It's Apple Blossom Time in Fort Worth.
Oh, that's awful pretty, Slim.
Yeah, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's play it through once. You ready on the drums, Enchilada? I want plenty of drums in this. All right, you ready, boys? Here we go. Play it just like she was wrote. Everybody set?
Hey, Slim, what's all these little black spots all over this paper?
I was wondering about that, too, Slim. Seems to me you could have got clean paper. Well, you know, as long as you was a-paying for it.
Them's notes. Them's what you play.
Oh, excuse me.
Now, come on. Here we go. I'm going to count three. Are you ready? Put her in half. I'll stomp my foot 3 times. Get set now. It's going to come fast. You got to be ready. Let's play it just like she was wrote. Don't leave nothing out. It's all good. If you get lost, keep it going. Don't go straggling all over this song like a dogie. Come on. Relax. Tighten up. Smile. Frown, because you're going to enjoy this one. Steady in the saddle. I'm a-counting. 1, 2. Hold it, boys. I better tell you. We're going to start this number on 3. You got that, boys, or you want to write it down? Here we go. 1, 2. Hold it. I guess I better announce our name just like we're going to do it uptown. Present Slim Slade and his Makes You Want to Dance when they're playing a hoedown and just sit down and cry when they're playing a sad one. Western Band. You think that name's too long? Well, all right, here we go. Real down-to-earth music right out of the dirt. Put her in half. Well, let's go. 1, 2, hit it. No, I forgot I was supposed to say the number 3. Hold it, boys, hold it. Hold it. You done right good on that one. You done right good on When It's Apple Blossom Time in Fort Worth. Now, I got another one I want to try. Music and notes by me. It's called Horsefly Pie and Apple Pan Howdy. All right, boys. 1, 2, kick it. Oh, going. I always forget to say 3. Hold it. That's mighty pretty, ain't it? Which one of those you like the best? Well, never mind. I got another one here I want to try. Music and notes by me. This is a sad one, boys. It's a prison song. It's called I Might As Well Be Sprung. Okay, let's do her. 1, 2, take her. Now, why didn't I say 3? Hold it. Boys, I gotta say you sure are versatile. Them 3 are the prettiest tunes I ever did hear. Now, I think we're all ready to go. But before we do, I got one more tune I'd like to try. Music and notes by me. I call this one Bang, Bang, Bang Went My 6-Gun. That's pretty, ain't it? Kind of nostalgic. All right, boys. 1, 2, play it. Now, what happened to 3?
Slim Slade and his Western Band. First, it's the Pennsylvania Roof. Then the Wedgwood Room of the Waldorf. Carnegie Hall, millions of phonograph records, radio coast to coast. Yes, Slim Slade and his band had arrived on the musical scene. And then, one day, disaster.
Boys, I got sad news. They tied the can to us. We're through. We've been fired plumb out of New York.
Oh, what's the trouble, Slim?
Well, the manager of that there radio station told me tonight that we wasn't versatile enough. Said all our tunes sounded alike. I don't know how he figured that. We got 47 tunes. All of them got different names. Music and notes by me. Come on, boys, pick up your instruments. Let's play a couple of them numbers and see what that fella's talking about. All right, the go down, hold down. That's good. Hey, wait a minute. Hold it just a minute. Them drums ain't quite loud enough, Enchilada. A little of that melody sneaked through in one place. Okay, more drums this time, and let's hear the Gila Monster Waltz. Okay. Now I want to hear one more. I want to hear Oh, You Beautiful Texas. This is pretty. I like it. All right, now listen. Now let's go back. Let's do a little reviewing. Let's go way back. Let's hear our first hit. The tune that brung us here. When It's Apple Blossom Time in Fort Worth. Okay, boys. Oh, no. That fella don't know what he's talking about. Them's 4 of the prettiest tunes I ever heard. But we're going back to Texas. I'm plumb played out. I ain't got another tune in me. I'm just like that fella Irvine Berlin. Only he's got someone to help him with them lyrics. I got to write the notes myself. Saddle up, boys. We're all through. We're going back to poking cows. If we stay here any longer, we're going to get in a rut.
Sure is good being back in Texas, ain't it?
Yeah, I don't miss that Pennsylvania roof none. Fella by the name of Benny Goodman done moved in after us.
Who's he?
Oh, here comes Slim now. Well, howdy, Slim Slade. Howdy.
Saddle up, boys. We're going back to New York. I've done it again. We got it this time. I wrote a new tune. Music and notes by me, boys. Get this. This is going to be a snapper, this title. It's called When It's Apple Blossom Time in Corpus Christi.
My baby don't care for clothes. My baby don't care for shows. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for silks and laces. My baby don't care for high-toned places. My baby don't care for rings and other expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows it. My baby just cares for me. Care for clothes. My baby don't care for shows. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for silks and laces. My baby don't care for high-tone places. My baby don't care for rings and other expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows it. My baby just cares for me.
Inside Hollywood. Presenting Hollywood's own beloved, sweet, darling, pretty, vivacious, lovable...
Ah, yes.
Brunella Carsons. Miss Carsons.
Thank you, ugly boy. Good evening, all my friends here in Movie Land. Tonight, instead of my usual dribble... must be a typographical error. They must mean trivia. I'm speaking to you from the sound stages of stupendous pictures, and I want you to look in with me. Shall we be off?
Quiet! Quiet on the set! Quiet! Somebody's still breathing. Where's my assistant director, Rodney Reel?
Oh, yes, sir. Did you want me, sir?
Reel, you're all wound up. Remember, I'm a busy man directing this picture.
Of course, Monty.
As far as I'm concerned, Reel, you're just about run out. Now, what did I tell you to call me on the set?
You mean what the extras call you?
No, not that. Oh. You know.
Yes. Montague Close-Up Muldoon, Director Supreme of Stupendous Pictures, Incorporated.
Well, you can leave off the incorporated when we're among friends. I'm a busy man. This is no B picture, you know. Have we spent any money lately?
We spent $40,000 just 10 minutes ago.
I said lately. What'd you spend it for, Reel?
A bathing suit for the leading lady.
This is no B picture. Give me that checkbook. I'm going to write out a check for another $40,000. Let's get both pieces of that bathing suit. It's indecent. Reel, have I told you lately that I'm a busy man?
Yes, Mr. Busy. I mean Mr. Muldoon. Now, about this army picture, Mr. Muldoon, I want to tell you something.
Listen, Reel. You can't tell me anything about the Army. I know that outfit from A to Z. I was a full colonel in this war, and I spent the entire duration in Washington, D.C. Now, what about that desert scene?
Well, we're having difficulty finding a desert big enough to hold 2,000 troop transports.
Now, listen, if MacArthur could afford to use 1,000 troop transports, Stupendous Pictures can afford to use 2,000.
But there's no desert big enough.
Well, I told you to buy Death Valley. If you don't hurry, they'll start a housing project out there. Reel, you slipped your spool for the last time with me. I'm taking over the entire production of this picture personally. I promised the Secretary of War that this Army picture would be ready 3 days ago. I'll keep that promise.
Yes, Mr. Muldoon.
Have you got that explosion scene ready?
Yes, sir.
Well,
the bomb men have been working on it for 2 weeks. I think you'll like it.
Well, let's have it. This picture's costing me $1 million a day. It's not long enough. Do it again. Well, I'm off for the desert. Forgot my checkbook. Quiet! Quiet! Quiet on the desert! Quiet! Well, Real, what's your excuse this time?
Well, Mr. Muldoon,
I don't see a drop of water out here anywhere.
But, Mr. Muldoon...
I told you to flood this entire desert under 26 feet of water. Now, what are we going to do with Esther Williams? In this picture, she won't swim. Well, in this picture, she just won't swim. She'll have to ride a camel, that's all. By the way, I don't see those camels anywhere.
But, Mr. Muldoon...
I suppose you're going to tell me that you forgot. You forgot a little thing like 30,000 camels. Oh.
Mr. Muldoon, there is something that this Army picture I've been trying to tell you.
Well, Real, you're all mixed up. I know what you mean, though. Is this what you call a crowd? I asked for 100,000 Arabs, but do I get them? No. There's practically nobody out there. Looks like a group of Republicans lined up to vote.
Mr. Muldoon, I've been thinking...
Impossible. Where's the telephone?
Why?
Why? I'll tell you why. I want a crowd out there. I'm going to call Washington. Mr. Truman's the only one that's got 100,000 men not doing anything.
Well, Mr. Muldoon, there's no telephone way out here in the desert.
No, who says so? When Muldoon wants a telephone, Muldoon gets a telephone. Why, there's probably one hanging right here on this banana tree. By the way, Real, where are those banana trees? Well, never mind. You've got a nickel?
Here you are, Mr. Muldoon. 5 cents.
Well, this picture's costing us a lot of money. Hello? What number did I dial? Well, how should I know what number I dialed? I'm a busy man. Give me the White House. No, I won't wait. I want the White House. I'm a busy man. Hello, White House? I want to talk to you know who. Is he busy? Yeah, he's busy. I'll call later.
Mr. Muldoon, there's something about this Army picture you ought to know.
Real, you're off the track again. Have I fired you today?
No, Mr. Muldoon.
I haven't? You're fired!
Well, I'll be a second lieutenant.
All right. Now, places, everybody. Hurry up. It's going to take all day for 300,000 people to get set. You back there, stop blinking your eyes. Now, when I give the signal, all 300,000 of you Arabs run out to that clearing in the desert. Now, the Army planes, wait a minute. Yeah, they're up there circling around. All right. At a signal from me, they'll swoop down and strafe you. They're using real bullets, so be careful. If any of you get mowed down, don't worry. You won't spoil the scene. This is only a rehearsal.
Mr. Muldoon, I just came out to tell you the picture is finished.
It is? Well, that's fine. All you Arabs out there, you can all go home. This Army picture is finished.
There's only one thing wrong, Mr. Muldoon.
Well, what's that, Real?
What I've been trying to tell you all along. This picture was not ordered by the Secretary of War.
It wasn't?
No, that letter was from the Secretary of the Navy. This Army picture was supposed to be a Navy picture.
It's the blues. It's Midge Williams.
Out on a plain down near Santa Fe, I met a cowboy riding the range one day, and as he jogged along, I heard him singing the most peculiar cowboy song. It was a ditty he learned in the city. Come to I-I-Y, come to I-I-Y, if I get along. Get hip, little doggy, get along. Better be on your way, get along. Get hip, little doggy, and he took him on down the old fairway, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come to I-I-Y, come to I-I-Y, singing his cowboy song. He's just too much. He's got a knockout western accent with a collar. He was raised on local weed. He's what you call a thing half-breed, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come to I-I-Y, come to I-I-Y, why get along. Get hip, little doggy, get along. Better be on your way, get along. Get hip, little doggy, and he took him on down the old fairway, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come to I-I-Y, come to I-I-Y, singing his cowboy song. He's just too much. He's got a knockout western accent with that Harlem cut. He was raised on local weed. He's what you call a swing half-breed, singing his cow-cow boogie in the strangest way. Come to I-I-Y, come to I-I-Y. Yip, 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 come to I-I-Y.
Stand by. Here's the news you've been waiting all week to hear. Here's the news thousands of you want to hear.
Folks, he's talking about the results of our Ginger Peachy contest announced last week. Remember, we told you to write a letter on the subject, how to get the Jack Webb show off the air.
Didn't work, did it? Well, John, clean your glasses and read the winning letter.
Here it is, Jack. In part it says, I read from the letter, quote, Chapter 1 entitled The Process of Air Fumigation, or How to Get the Jack Webb Show Off the Air. The solution is to have each person in the country take deeper and more breaths, and it won't be long until all the air is used up, and then there will be no air for Webb to be on.
How silly.
And it's signed Betty Ford, Pyramid Court, Sparks, Nevada. Congratulations, Miss Ford.
I hate you, Miss Ford. But enough of these pats in the back for Miss Ford. She wants to know what she's won. By the way, what did she win?
Oh, boy, she won, and how what she won.
Well, what did she win?
Well, if Nora McNamara will just put that geometry book away for a minute and come up here.
John, you don't mean we're giving Nora away?
No, Webb, no. Nora has the prize. And here it is.
My, look at that thing, a king-size egg. Isn't that beautiful? What is that, John?
It's a genuine ostrich egg, laid fresh this morning from the California Ostrich Farm in Southern California. Yes, friends, this is a Hollywood egg.
Yes, sir, this ostrich egg has been autographed by all members of the cast, including John Galbraith, who makes his usual X. And it has been lacquered and placed on a solid wooden base. And all this, with our best wishes, will be shipped air express to the winner of this week's contest, Betty Ford, Sparks, Nevada.
Well, right now.
Tonight's egg was laid by the Ragged Clancy Hayes reached the case against us with a vocal. Midge Williams as guest stars, teed off on a couple of songs. John Galbraith and Ethel Sterling missed their cues. Dick Breen glued the joints together. And this is Jack Webb. Give us another chance next Wednesday night at 9:30, will you? Good night, gang. See you then.
Dragnet. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to narcotics detail. A steady flow of drugs is coming into your city. The prime buyers are juveniles. Weeks of effort fail to turn up any lead to the source. Your job? Find it.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, January 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of narcotics detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Wallers. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the cell block, and it was 9:47 a.m. when we got to the interview room. Felony section.
Sit down there.
All right, Morley, you want to tell us?
About what?
Why you're here.
It's on the booking slip. You saw it.
We'd like to hear it from you.
It's no go.
You won't tell us.
I'd like to, but I can't.
All right, let's go over it again.
From where?
The beginning.
Where were you picked up? Corner 5th and Main.
For what?
Cop said I had a handful of pot.
Did you?
Well, he found it, said it was mine.
But it wasn't.
No.
Where'd it come from?
I don't know.
How much you turned?
A couple of joints.
And you don't know where it came from?
You heard it once.
Morley, you think that story's going to hold in court?
I got to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, why don't you start?
Okay, you win. Get your notebook out.
Go ahead.
I just got out of the movie, triple feature. Spent the whole afternoon in the place. Time I left, it was dark. I walked up to the corner trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this guy come down the street, running fast. He came right at me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to bang into me the way he was running, not looking where he was going.
Yeah.
Now, I'll get the picture. I'm standing there minding my own business, and here comes this fellow, perfect stranger. I never saw him before in my whole life. He runs right up to me, and he gives me a package. He just hands it to me and says, hang on to this. I'll be right back. After that, he left.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, a car pulls up, 2 cops get out. I got a chain on. I'm brought in here.
That's the way it happened.
That's right.
You didn't know anything about what the guy was giving you?
No.
You like to tell us what this fellow looked like?
You mean the one who gave me the package?
That's it.
He's a tall one.
Mm-hmm.
About 12'2".
Mm-hmm.
Pure green hair. He wore it in kind of a crew cut. You know, short?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have any trouble picking up a guy like that.
You think you're doing yourself any good with this kind of an attitude?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to give you the story.
All right, Morley, you just pulled the top in. We got you made and you know it. Officer shook down your house this morning. We found a couple of pounds of manicured Mary over 56. We don't need your word to nail you. You've already had it.
Then why are you rousting me now?
We want to know where it came from.
I buy it from a fellow.
The one 12 feet tall.
That's right.
Let me see your arms, Morley.
What?
Come on. You've been this way. Roll up your sleeves. All right, now the other one. How long you been off?
Boy, somebody tell me what's going on around here. This place is full of crackpots.
You got a question hanging, Morley.
Well, the answer ain't here.
You know where to find it.
All right, I'll lay it out. I bought the grass. I bought it from a couple fellas I know.
Who are they?
You've had it.
Only part way.
Well, that's as far as I go.
You afraid of them?
I'm not afraid of anybody.
Then why not give us the names?
I wouldn't be able to find a place on the street.
We'll build a wall around you.
No, they get through.
We'll be in front of you.
Well, you'll get hurt.
Why won't you tell us where your marijuana connection is?
I won't be a finger.
They're pretty good friends, aren't they?
Huh?
These men you're protecting, they think a lot of you, don't they?
I guess so.
So much that they'll let you sit here while they're on the outside.
I'll get out.
It'll be a while.
Yeah, but when I do, I'll stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to walk around and look them in the face.
Sure you will.
They'll know what I did. I carried the beef. They'll know.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't look too close. You'll see them laughing at you. Kenneth Harris Morley was returned to his cell and held to answer charges of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony. Frank and I went back to the office, no closer to the source of marijuana that had been flooding the city. In the past 3 months, juvenile crime had risen sharply. Neighborhood merchants were reporting burglaries and acts of vandalism attributed to teenagers. In talking to some of the youngsters, we found that most of the crimes were the result of tea parties. We'd been working with the narcotic detail of Juvenile Division, but even by pooling our knowledge of the drug traffic in Los Angeles, we'd been unable to come up with a head person in the operation. Arrests had taken place, but none of the people apprehended could or would tell us who was running the campaign. Known peddlers were questioned. Informants were checked and rechecked. But when all of the work was evaluated, we were right back where we'd started. Monday, 12:15 p.m., we met with Captain Wallers and filled him in on the latest developments. 1:42 p.m.
That's right, Mac. Yeah. Well, we talked to him. No, he wouldn't give us time of day. Oh, sure he knows.
Yeah. Well, at least a step up. It'd be something. Uh-huh. Well, the only thing we can figure is the gun has got all the boys lined up and they're scared. Mm-hmm. Well, until we find a way to open them up, we're going to stay there. Yeah. Yeah. If we turn anything, we'll let you know. Right. Bye. McTeague, Georgia Street.
Mm-hmm. They do any good?
No, they knocked over another plant last night.
Where?
Out in the valley. Guys selling drive-in style. Mm-hmm. Customers pull in the driveway, honk the horn. A couple of minutes later, the pusher comes out and makes a sale.
You said anything?
No. They talked to him for a couple hours. Won't even admit he's in California.
How's he explain the plan?
Doesn't try to. Says the weed's his, just won't tell where it comes from.
Yeah, another dead end.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think we've seen everyone in town.
I get it. Narcotics Friday. Yeah, that's right. Yes, I remember. Is that right? Mm-hmm. You name it. Well, it's 1:45 now. How's 15 minutes? All right, we'll see you there. What's that? Smith, my partner, you know him. All right, see you there. Right.
What do you got?
Remember Hugo Kenley?
Kenley?
A mule we talked to last year in the Redford thing?
Oh, yeah, little guy, kind of nervous.
That's right.
What about him?
Says he wants to see us.
Yeah.
He's got info on some heroin that's coming into the country.
From where?
European stuff.
Uh-huh.
3 kilos, over 6 pounds. Frank and I left the office and drove out to see Hugo Kenley. A year prior, he'd been instrumental in aiding us with the apprehension of the gang bringing heroin in from Mexico. Because of his cooperation, he'd been placed on probation, and neither of us had seen him since. On the telephone, he said he'd meet us in a small restaurant down on Spring Street. When Frank and I entered the place, we saw Kenley in one of the rear booths.
Right there.
Hi, Mr. Friday.
Hugo, you know Frank Smith.
Sure. How are you, Mr. Smith?
Hi, Kenley.
All right, Hugo, what do you got for us?
You got to promise one thing.
What's that?
I'm a mile away.
All right, if that's the way you want it.
Well, it's got to be.
All right, go ahead.
The way it came to me was a rumble, nothing for sure.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks ago, I tagged a place out in the south end of town. Stop in there once in a while for some fish and chips, you know, when I can eat.
Yeah.
Well, there was a couple of guys at the bar, and we got to talking.
Mm-hmm.
One thing led to another. All of a sudden, we're buddies.
Mm-hmm.
You say this was 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Got so I'd drop in every night, shoot the breeze with them. A couple of times we went out together, had dinner, did a couple of strip joints on Western, you know, moved around.
Yeah.
A week ago, one of them took me home. I got sick, and he said he'd drop me off, told me it wasn't out of his way.
Mm-hmm.
So we stopped at a drugstore, and I got some pills. While we were there, he had a cup of coffee. We got to talking.
Yeah.
He wanted to know if I'd go to work with him.
Doing what?
Pushing.
H?
Yeah. Said they were expecting the shipment in, good stuff, European.
Mm.
Said as soon as it got here, they'd want to unload it fast. Said I could make myself a couple of bills.
When's the stuff come in?
I don't know for sure. Sometime next week, the way they talked.
You said something on the phone about it being a good-sized shipment.
The word I got was 3 kilos.
Cut?
No, they're going to do that here.
You know who's shipping it?
No, I figured it'd be better if I didn't show too much interest.
Yeah.
These guys are using agates. They don't want to lose.
What can you tell us about them?
2 of them.
They the guns?
Well, I don't think so. Somebody else has got keys. They're just along for the ride.
What about the names?
Milo Goff and Drew Franzen.
They stood before?
Yeah.
On what?
Milo's fallen for 211. Drew's had a couple of 459s and 245s.
Any big time?
Milo's seen the joint.
What about Franzen?
Yeah, Q and Folsom.
They owe any time now?
They didn't say.
What about jobs?
Nothing. They wouldn't work if it was against the law.
Who else is in with them?
Well, they're it, as far as I know. They got a lot of mules pushing grass for them now, all waiting for the heavy stuff.
Anybody know who the power is?
No, even Milo and Drew don't talk about him. Just now and then they mention the man, that's all. The man.
Anything about him?
Nothing you can tie down.
They talk to him?
Not with me around.
You know where they sleep?
I'm not sure. Milo said once they had a pad over on Adams.
Mm-hmm. How'd they pick you? Why'd they open the door for you? Well, you set them up. They're pretty hinky. Why ring you in?
Well, I told you we got to talking when we met. We had a couple of friends we both know.
You in the business?
Yeah.
How come they didn't call one of them?
And they want no part of a needle. They don't want anybody with them that might cop. Guess they figured I was safe.
What do you want out of this, Hugo?
Huh?
Where do you draw your play? You're not dealing for free.
And this time, I don't like what they got planned.
What?
To get the whole town sliced up. They're going to set up distributorships. Get the route started and then bow out. Figured the shipment would get them going.
You said something about grass, too, didn't you?
Yeah.
There's a lot of it around town now. Did it come from the same two guys?
Most of it. They really got it made. Gonna go big time. Make a killing and get out.
Where's the weed coming from?
I don't know for sure.
Same gun behind it?
The way they talk, yeah.
You can't tell us anything about it?
No.
All right. You want to give us a description of this Milo and Drew Franson?
Sure.
Everything. Where they live, what they eat, who their friends are.
It's going to take some time.
We got it.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, if we go someplace else to talk?
Sure. Where?
It don't make any difference. As long as it's out someplace. I don't want word to get back to them.
All right, let's go.
You know, there's only one way you're really going to nail these guys.
Yeah?
Join them.
You want to set it up?
You asking?
It's your idea.
Yeah, but I don't want any part of their action. I told you they play too rough for me.
Well, you know how we can set up a contact?
Who?
One of us.
Who's going to know?
Nobody else.
For real?
If you want it that way. Now, how about it?
A long way round.
Well, you said yourself it's the only way.
What happens if they find out?
We'll be there.
I'm not worried about that.
Well, what?
Will I?
We left the restaurant and drove over to MacArthur Park. Kenley gave us complete descriptions of the men he knew as Milo Goff and Drew Franzen. We made arrangements to meet with them again the following day, and then Frank and I went back to the office. We ran the names and descriptions through R&I, and we found that both men had records listing charges of robbery, burglary, and assault with a deadly weapon. A check through our file showed that neither of them had been involved in narcotics operation before. We checked their friends and the places they were known to frequent. Every place we went, we ran into the same wall. Nobody had talked to us. The following day, we met with Hugo Kenley again and outlined a plan to introduce me as a narcotic buyer from out of town. Kenley said that it'd take some time to make the arrangements, and we set up another meeting for Saturday, January 15th. Frank and I began to make plans for my going underground. I established residence at one of the better hotels in downtown Los Angeles. Through Captain Walters, I was able to obtain the money necessary to put up the front. Friday night, Frank and I met in the hotel bar to go over the final details of the operation.
Anything from Hugo yet?
No. The way we left it, he's going to call in the morning.
I don't like it, Joe.
You know, if there was another way, I'd take it.
I still think we ought to keep a tail on you.
No, the way Hugo's laid these fellows out, they'd spot it for sure. Anything goes wrong, they'd be gone before you could come in anyway.
Yeah. The skipper doesn't think it's good either.
Neither do I, Frank. If you got an idea how we can pull it off without taking the chance, let me know, will you?
Yeah.
All right, let's go over it again.
Okay.
We lay it out that I got to see the stuff before I buy, the usual thing.
Yeah.
Once they show, I call you.
Mm-hmm. I've got the money.
That's right. You hustle over to where we make the meet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I get the chance to call before the buy, I will. Otherwise, you'll know I got hung up.
Okay. I'll be home. You get the number.
Yeah. As soon as I have any information, I'll try to get it to you. You can relay it to the skipper, all right?
How are we going to know if there's trouble?
When I phone, if I use your first name, you'll know everything's all right.
Yeah.
If I call you Smith, don't waste any time. Get there, and get there as fast as you can.
Okay.
You got the ID for me?
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, here's a driver's license. A couple of hotel receipts from up north, all made out to Jerry Whitner.
Jerry Whitner, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's some letters, phone book.
Where'd you get the numbers?
Jules Zimmerlin dug them up. Bars, hotels, a couple of places that ran a book in the Bay Area.
Looks all right.
Yeah. I hope it works.
Anybody from the office in the hotel?
Yeah. Luke's in the lobby. They took one of the rooms on your floor. A couple of men there. We've got the place covered as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're inside, we can see you. As soon as you go through the door, you're by yourself.
You continue to make it sound good, don't you?
Not leaving anything out, Joe.
Yeah.
You going to have dinner here at the hotel?
I figured to. There's no reason to leave.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going back to the office.
All right, see you in the morning.
I'll be here.
Okay.
As soon as I hear you left the hotel, I'll get home and wait to hear from you.
Yeah.
Try to keep us posted, huh?
Yeah, well, this isn't the first time, Frank.
Well, it looks like the roughest, though.
Comes off, it'll be worth it. 3 kilos. Pure heroin. You know what that's worth?
I don't know what they think.
Yeah.
I know what it's going to cost you.
The next morning at 8:46 a.m., I got a call from Hugo Kenley. He said he'd set it up for me to meet the two men. I was to pick him up at the corner of 7th and Broadway, and then together we'd drive to Milo Goff's. I went down to the lobby of the hotel and made arrangements to rent a car. As soon as it was delivered, I put in a call to the office and told them what had happened. After that, I left and picked up Kenley. He directed me to drive down the Harbor Freeway and then turn off onto Figueroa and on down to Imperial Highway. On the way, he said that he told Goff and Franzen that I'd gotten into town from San Francisco and was in a position to take their entire supply of heroin. From what he said, the deal looked good. We cut off Imperial and turned left to Grand Avenue. Kenley told me to turn north and drive to the corner of Grand and 113th Street. We parked the car and walked the remaining half block. The house was well kept, white stucco. In the front yard, there was a child's tricycle and a playpen. We went up onto the porch and rang the bell.
Come on in. Marlo, this is Jerry Whitner, the fellow I told you about.
Hi, Jerry. Glad to know you.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Thank you.
Get you anything? Drink, cup of coffee?
No, nothing for me.
Where's Drew? Not to get something for breakfast.
This your house?
You don't even know that.
Not important.
Well, let's just keep it that way.
Okay, let's deal.
You're in a hurry, aren't you?
I don't have a lot of time.
Maybe you want to go too fast.
If I buy, it's the way it's going to be.
Not with us.
Okay, see you later.
How about the money?
As soon as you show the H, I'll make a call. Scratch will be delivered.
You won't have it with you?
Oh, you're out of your head. You know me better than that. I'm not going to carry a pocket full of money around so somebody can walk off with it. Where do we make the meet?
You get a call.
When?
Day after tomorrow.
Nothing you can do to speed it up?
Nothing.
Okay, I'll hear from you.
Yeah.
This going to be the place?
We'll tell you that, too.
You play it pretty tight, don't you?
You want to stay in the game.
Yeah. You want to go back with me, Hugo?
Sure. No reason you have to leave, is there?
Nothing to keep me.
Okay, have it your way.
I usually do.
You talk big, Whitner.
It's the way I work, too.
You got a big mouth.
Now, look, punk, I don't like this deal. None of it. You can't deliver. You don't know for sure when the stuff is going to be ready. You talk big, but it don't fit. I've seen cheap operators like you before. Don't make any difference to me how you talk, but you better be able to come through. Anything goes wrong with this deal, and I'm going to come looking for you, fella.
You scare me.
The only reason I even talk to you is I think maybe you got something to sell. If it's what you say, I want it.
You got the money, we can make a deal.
Let's leave it there. Come on.
Yeah. We'll give you a call.
You do that. Don't make it later than you said.
Keep the money handy. We get through with this, I want to get out of town. I got a date Monday night. I want to keep it.
You will. I went back to the hotel and waited. Monday morning, I got another call from Hugo to tell me that the meet was to take place in the hotel lobby at 10:45 a.m. From there, we'd go to where the buy would be made. I got in touch with Frank and told him what had happened. He said the hotel was covered, also the house on Grand Avenue. He went on to say that other officers would be standing by for my call to bring the money. As soon as the buy was made, all of the people in the place would be placed under surveillance in the hope that either Goff or Franzen would lead us to the head man in the operation. 10:36 a.m. I went downstairs and met Hugo Kenley and Milo Goff. We talked for a few minutes while we waited for Franzen to show up. Goff told me that the buy would be made in an apartment out in the Hollywood area.
As soon as Franzen gets here, we'll shove up.
I got time to make a call.
To who?
Man with the money. Tell him to stand by.
You got to be told?
You want the money, don't you? I want to make sure he's there.
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
Go with you.
All right, come on. Got a dime?
Yeah. Here.
Thanks.
Make it snappy. Now, here comes Franzen.
Just take a minute.
Where you been?
Had to see the man, get the package.
As soon as Jerry finishes here, we can move.
This the guy?
Yeah, why?
You bonehead. Dumbest trick I ever heard of.
What do you mean?
All right, mister, put your hands down by your side. Make a move and I'll blow your spine out.
What are you doing? What's wrong?
This friend of yours.
What about him?
I know him. He's a cop.
Drew Franzen told me to stand up slowly, and when I did, he moved in and took my gun away from me and directed me to move out of the phone booth and across the lobby to the hotel. I did as I was told.
Keep your head front, cop. Walk a line.
You got it wrong.
No, I haven't. You're May. I ran into you a couple of years ago. You hung a pinch on a friend of mine. Name's Friday, isn't it? Joe Friday?
You're doing the talking.
I didn't have any part in it, Franzen. You got to believe that.
You make it hard.
Where are we going?
Outside. After that, we'll tell you.
You know you're not going to make it.
I don't see anything to stop us.
From here, I can see 5 guns.
You've been using bad stuff.
All right.
Keep moving.
Take him, Roxy.
Hold it right there, Franzen.
Get your hands off of me, cop.
Come on.
I'll take that gun, Franzen.
You think you're pretty smart, don't you, Cop?
You figure.
Huh?
I'm not going to jail. Suspect bags were searched, and then they were taken to the First Street station. In Franzen's pocket, we found a check from a parking lot. Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli and his partner checked it out. And going over the car, they found the heroin. Frank came into the office, and we talked to Drew Franzen for over an hour without getting anything out of him. He was booked in at the main jail. 12:14 p.m. We had Milo Kenley brought to the interview room.
Isn't going to do you any good, you know.
Is that right?
Sure, I'm not going to tell you anything.
You don't have to. We know you plan to set up a distributing organization.
No, you ought to write this.
We sent a couple of officers out to your place. They found a list of names.
I got a lot of friends.
Most of them have narco records.
I like different people.
We're going to talk to all of them.
Call first. Some of them move around.
You'll tell us nothing, huh?
What I got to say you've had.
Okay, but I want to tell you something.
I can't turn it off. Go ahead.
You know, when I first met you, I thought you were pretty smart. Looks like I was all wrong.
Yeah?
You got to be thick in the head to take a beat by yourself.
It won't be long.
You better check the Narcotic Act again with the new laws. We got enough on you to lose the key and the cell number.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it comes out in court.
You're going to be there all by yourself.
What about Francis?
He's out.
What do you mean?
Just what I said. He isn't here.
Well, where is he?
I wouldn't know.
Is this true?
Left here about 20 minutes ago.
Bail, huh? Is that how he made it? Well, it won't hurt to tell me that.
He isn't here. All we got is you.
Well, what about me? Nobody put up bail for me?
I didn't see a line anywhere, did you?
You're not lying.
We don't even have to talk to you, fella. I just figured that you wouldn't want to stand all by yourself.
You sure got good friends, Goff.
Who sprung him?
I don't know.
Well, the guy had to leave a name.
Maybe. We didn't check.
It was Bert. All the odds in the world it was Bert.
Maybe. I told you I don't know.
It had to be. The only one to do it.
You'd know that.
Guy didn't say anything about getting me out, huh?
Not to us.
Call somebody with a book. You said you wanted a statement. I'll give it.
I'll check.
Can't figure why he'd do it.
What do you mean?
Bert, he's the man, the guy who set the whole thing up. The only one who'd go bail for France and the only one. Sat back and didn't want any part of it. Let us do the work, make the connections, plant the pushers and mules. We did it all. He just sat back.
You got any idea where we can pick him up?
Yeah. Still doesn't make sense. Why'd he leave me here?
You keep asking the same question. I don't know.
Lousy deal. Leave me to stand for it by myself. A real chintzy.
Sure is.
Big Bert. Sitting in his house while we do the work. Taking the biggest cut. Everything's the best with him. Best house. Best car. Best clothes. All his suits tailor-made.
That's so?
Yeah. He won't put a suit on his back. It isn't special made.
They'll find something that'll fit him.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 14th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Milo Harold Goff, Drew Walter Franzen, and Bert Michael Lorimer were tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 10 years in the state penitentiary.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
and gentlemen, the material and quotations included in the following program have been taken directly from news dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. This news material is presented for your information without editorial comment.
From San Francisco, the American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. Hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of 7.
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and village, beneath blankets of young spring stars, free men sing their songs onto the night air, sharp with the smells of wet, green grass, heavy with omens of nourishing rains soon to come. Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where men are equal, where men are brothers. It is truly a most wonderful thing. And all the more precious does it become when we realize that only a few years ago, in ravaged cities far beyond our eastern coast, this was the order of events.
Lieutenant. Clear away the bodies from the wall. Come along. Fast there. We haven't all night. Line up another dozen of the Jewish animals against the wall. Fast, fast. That is it. Juden, swine. Soon they will all be gone. We must make it clear that we are the masters. Achtung. Ready. Aim. Fire. That is good. Clear them away. Skip along there. Bring up another dozen. Move. We haven't all night to know.
Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where all men are brothers. truly a wonderful thing. But in one small American town, a young Negro, too active politically to suit his white neighbors, is dragged from his home to a field on the outskirts of the town. There he is fastened to cross-like posts. His clothes are ripped from his body. A man with a huge whip advances toward him.
All right, Negro. Maybe this will teach you to keep some of your equality ideas to yourself this time. You know, a few swats across your hide with this should convince you that we're the bosses down here. All right, boys, come on, men. Give me room. Stand back. All right, Negro. Here you are. And this. And once more. You ought to learn now. I'll teach you.
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and the village, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, crammed with promise for better things and better times to come.
It's not far, just close by, through an open door. Work all done, care laid by, going to
It is a wonderful thing to live in a land where a man does not fear because of his creed, where a man may cast his vote for what he believes in. Yes, it is truly a most wonderful thing. But last week, in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, a Negro college graduate mounts the steps of Jefferson County Courthouse, makes his way down a long marble corridor, and enters the office of the Registrar of Voters. There, as provided by Alabama state law, the young Negro takes the voter's registration test. He explains intelligently and comprehensively the Constitution of the United States, translates on sight a very difficult passage of French, undergoes more tedious cross-examination. Finally, he is asked,
All right, boy. Here you are. Read what it says here in this Greek newspaper.
The young student studies the paper for a moment, and then he replies, Why, it says here that Negroes can't vote in the state of Alabama.
That's absolutely correct, boy.
You sure have caught on. Now listen. If you'll just step out that door you came in and slam it behind you. In the neighboring state of Mississippi, in the small town of Tupelo, Reverend James Parsons filed his candidacy for the United States House of Representatives to oppose incumbent Congressman John Rankin. Immediately thereafter, the insurance on the church in which Reverend Parsons has served for 25 years is canceled. Reverend Parsons' daughter is a school teacher, so her teacher certificate is immediately taken away. Reverend Parsons' son is away at Howard University for Negroes in Washington, and he is warned by telegram,
"Your old man has fixed you good. Now don't try to come back to Tupelo if you know what's good for you. You got that?"
Finally, one Sunday evening, after evening services at his church, Reverend Parsons is standing at the door to the vestibule when a group of men approach him. Good evening, gentlemen. What may I do for you?
I'll tell you what you can do for us. You can get out of town. Get out of town and get out fast. And don't try to come back, or we'll lynch you sure.
Spring has come back to the earth again, to the land of free men, and all up and down the nation, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, heavy with omens of nourishing rains to come.
Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd was the producer. Music is by Otto Clare at the Hammond. All characters are portrayed by Jack Webb. Featured tonight was Joseph James, baritone. Tonight's presentation was based on reports taken from authoritative files and from dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. Listen again next week, same time, same station for
1 out of 7.
John Galbraith speaking. This is ABC, The American Broadcasting Company.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the burglary detail. For the past month, a hot prowl artist has been working the Silver Lake district in your city. Your job? Stop him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, April 12th. It was sunny in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the business office, and it was 4:31 p.m. when I got to room 45. Burglary.
Been reading about it in the papers. You know, little items here and there. Not front page stuff, but it started me thinking.
Sure. Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi.
Mr. Bircher is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
I do.
How are you, Mr. Bircher?
Pretty good, pretty good. Except for my feet. They're killing me.
Oh?
That's just a little joke amongst us mailmen, Sergeant. Somebody asks us how we feel. We say our dogs are killing us. It ain't necessarily the truth, but it's what folks expect to hear, so we don't disappoint them.
Yes, sir. What was it you wanted to see us about, Mr. Bircher?
I was just telling your partner here, Smith, is it?
That's right, sir.
Well, I was just telling Mr. Smith my mail route's out in the Silver Lake district.
Uh-huh.
You know, where they've been having them burglaries lately.
Yes, sir.
Sure, it's a shame. Nice part of town, quiet, residential. Nice people, too. Been delivering their mail for the past 12 years.
Is that right?
Get to know folks pretty well in that length of time. Now, you take Mrs. Davenport. Lives in the 700 block on St. George Place.
Yes, sir.
The minute I gave her her mail last Friday, I could tell something was wrong. She didn't even glance at her postcards. That was the tip-off.
Yes, sir.
Told me somebody had sneaked into her house that morning. Stole $20 in cash and her diamond engagement ring. Said she'd left it on the sink when she started doing the breakfast dishes. Went in the other room to answer the phone. That must have been when she was robbed.
Mm-hmm.
You already heard about Mrs. Davenport being robbed, have you?
Yes, sir. We talked to her last week.
Oh, you're the fellow that's come to see her about it?
That's right.
You had any luck yet?
How's that?
Catching the fellow that robbed her.
No, sir, not so far.
Well, I don't know whether this will help you out or not, but I thought I ought to tell you about it anyway.
About what, Mr. Bircher?
Well, it happened twice to my knowledge. Twice in the last 2 weeks. Once just this morning. That's why I come down here as soon as I got off work.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mrs. Perkins on South Maltman that happened to her today. Said she walked down into her kitchen, and there he was, big as life.
Yes, sir.
Stranger. Complete stranger. She asked him what he was doing there. He said he was from the light company. Come to repair her electric stove.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, Mrs. Perkins don't have an electric stove.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow apologized, said he got into the wrong house by mistake. Mrs. Perkins didn't think nothing about it, and just happened to mention it when I come by with the mail. I didn't think nothing about it either, not at first.
Yes, sir.
Then I remembered same thing happened to Mrs. Johnstone over on Scott Street. 10 days ago. Found a man from the light company standing in her kitchen. She hadn't sent for him either. He said they'd given the wrong address. Now, it just don't stand to reason the light company be sending people to the wrong addresses all the time.
No, sir, it doesn't.
Got to thinking about them burglaries. Mrs. Davenport and the ones I read about in the papers. Wondered if there wasn't some connection.
Well, it might be. It's the way a hot prowl artist works.
Hot prowl?
Daytime burglar. Operates when the victim is apt to be in the house.
Oh.
Would you give us their addresses, Mr. Bircher?
Huh?
The two ladies you were telling us about?
You mean that found the fellow from the light company in their kitchen?
Yes.
Mrs. Perkins. She lives on South Maltman, number 201. Mrs. Waldo Perkins, that's her full name.
201. And the other lady?
Johnstone. Mrs. Nellie Johnstone. She's a widow lady. Her address is 1247 Scott Street, corner of Scott and Brandon.
I see. Thank you.
Would you mind showing us just what your mail route covers, Mr. Bircher?
Huh?
On the map over here. Would you come over here?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Here we are.
Starts here.
Mm-hmm.
Down this street like so, then over here. This whole section. These streets here, down here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I end up.
I see.
Mm-hmm. That's the right area, all right.
Yeah.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, sir, I don't believe so. We appreciate your coming in.
Figured out I ought to help you if I could, seeing as how we both work for the same boss.
How's that?
The taxpayer.
We checked with the utility companies, and they told us that they had made no recent repair calls in the vicinity of the addresses that Mr. Bircher had given us. 5:46 p.m. Frank and I drove out to 201 South Maltman. It was a one-story stucco bungalow set behind a white picket fence.
Well, it's about time you... Where are the flowers?
Ma'am?
Aren't you from McAdams Flower Shop?
No, ma'am. We're
they
from the...
promised me they'd have them here by 5. Promised faithfully. Oh, you just can't depend on anybody. Well, what is it?
We're police officers, ma'am.
Police?
This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
You, Miss Perkins?
Well, yes, of course. Who do you think I was?
We'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Oh, what on earth about? Please, I'm in an awful hurry. I've got 16 people coming for dinner.
Just a couple of questions, please. It won't take us long.
Oh, all right. I suppose you might as well come in.
Thank you.
It isn't about Waldo.
Ma'am?
My husband. It isn't about him, is it? Not on top of everything else.
No, ma'am.
Well, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I'm just not up to a big dinner party anymore. I shouldn't have tried.
Yes, ma'am.
We understand you had a visitor this morning, Miss Perkins.
Visitor?
A man who said he'd come to fix your stove.
Oh, yes. Now, how on earth... Oh, that mailman. I ought to know better than to tell him anything. He spreads it all over town.
Yes, ma'am. You hadn't sent for an electrician, had you?
Oh, certainly not. If anything was wrong with my stove, I'd send to the gas company. It's a gas range.
Well, could you describe him for us, please?
Describe him?
That's right.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, what did he look like? Was he tall or short?
Well, I hardly even looked at him. He's just an ordinary man.
I see. How old would you say he was?
Isn't this kind of foolish?
Well, we aren't sure yet, ma'am. Do you have any idea of his age?
Oh, youngish, I guess. About 30.
Mm-hmm. How was he dressed?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
Well, did he have on a uniform of any kind?
No uniform. Suit, I think. I didn't pay much attention.
No scars, anything like that?
Well, not that I noticed. Might have.
Well, just what did he say to you?
Well, just that he'd made a mistake, that he was in the wrong house, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any kind of an accent?
No. He sounded like a plain, everyday American to me.
I see.
Do you think you'd recognize him if you saw him again?
Oh, I don't think so. If it had been some other day when I wasn't so busy, when I didn't have so much on my mind...
Yes, ma'am. Did you notice where he went when he left here?
Out the back door.
Did he drive away?
I really haven't any idea. If you're so interested in the poor man, you better talk to Margot.
Margot?
Mrs. Summersby, my next-door neighbor. She was doing some gardening this morning.
I see.
I suppose she saw him, too. There isn't much that gets by Margot. She's a little on the nosy side, if you know what I mean.
Yes, ma'am. Which house is hers?
That one there.
I see.
Now, I've just got to get back to my dinner. I haven't even started the salad yet.
Just one more thing, Miss Perkins.
Well, what is it now?
Is anything missing from around the house?
Missing?
Yes, ma'am. Money or anything of value?
Why, no. No, of course not.
You sure, are you?
What on earth are you driving at? A man makes a perfectly honest mistake. Next thing I know, the police are bothering me. You think he was a criminal or something?
I'm sorry we troubled you, Miss Perkins.
I just don't understand it. People come here all the time, day in and day out. Some of them have the right address, some of them have the wrong one. Spend half my life answering the doorbell.
Yes, ma'am.
What's so special about this fellow?
He didn't ring your doorbell. We left Miss Perkins and went over to talk to her next-door neighbor, Mrs. Summersby. Mrs. Summersby told us that she'd spent most of the morning in her garden transplanting begonias. She also said that she remembered seeing a stranger enter Mrs. Perkins' house about 10:30 a.m.
I don't think he noticed me. I was down on my hands and knees behind the hedge.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking it was kind of odd the way he just walked in. Then I decided it's probably somebody about the party she's giving tonight. Delivery man, somebody like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see him leave?
A couple of minutes later, he came backing out, headed out toward the front of the house.
Do you have a car?
Well, I suppose so.
You aren't sure?
No. I just assumed he did if he was a delivery man.
Mm-hmm.
Could you describe him for us, Mrs. Summersby?
Doesn't Mrs. Perkins know who he was?
Well, she isn't sure.
Well, she must know what he looked like.
Well, we'd like to check your description against hers, if it's all right.
I suppose she was a bit vague. I'm not surprised. She doesn't have a very sharp eye. She can't see her nose in front of her face.
Is that so?
And the way she's been carrying on about this dinner party, well, it's a wonder to me she even remembered the man.
Yes, ma'am.
You'd think if she could entertain 16 people, 2 more wouldn't be any extra trouble.
How's that?
All her talk about just having friends of her sister's. That's who the party's for. Her sister from Cleveland. They're out here on a visit.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse, that's what it is. To get out of inviting Rex and me. Well, she won't need excuses in the future. Our relationship will be on a somewhat different basis.
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you'll just tell us about the man you saw this morning.
Oh, him.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he was good size, tall as you are, maybe. A little heavier. Late 20s or early 30s, I'd put him.
Mm-hmm.
Dark hair, needed a haircut. Nice looking. Not real handsome or anything like that, but good looking.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how he was dressed?
Coat and pants. Don't think they matched. Not too sporty, though.
I see.
Walked real fast, brisk, like he was in a big hurry.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
No. No, I can't think of anything.
Has he been around this neighborhood before?
No, a stranger to me.
Would you recognize him if you saw him again?
Don't see why not. Oh, excuse me.
Surely.
Hello? Yes? Oh. That's too bad. Uh-huh. Well, I don't know. Oh? Well, I suppose you do, but... Oh. I see. All right. Bye. Mrs. Perkins.
Is that right?
Says the Barringtons can't come. Mr. Barrington's got virus. Wants me and Rex to fill in at the last minute. Well, if you're all through, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'd better start getting ready.
We told Mrs. Summersby to get in touch with us if she saw the suspect in the neighborhood again. We also told her that we might need her assistance in making an identification from mug shots. She offered to do all she could to help us. 6:48 p.m. Frank and I canvassed the vicinity for anyone else who might have seen the suspect. We were unable to turn up another witness. 8:06 p.m. We drove over to Scott Avenue and interviewed Mrs. Nellie Johnstone. Mrs. Johnstone stated that on Monday of the previous week, a strange man had entered her kitchen. He claimed to be from the electric company. He apologized for coming to the wrong address and left immediately. Her description of the suspect tallied with what we already had. The next day, April 13th, we checked the description in the M.O. with the stats office. They came up with 3 possibles. We took the names to R&I and pulled their packages. 12:08 p.m., we went back to the office.
What do you think, Joe?
Well, from these mug shots, it could be any one of them.
Yeah.
I better try for an identification.
Who do you want to start with?
Doesn't matter. Miss Perkins again.
Okay. Wonder how our party went last night.
I got it. Burglary Friday. Where did it happen? Yeah, that's the neighborhood. How long ago? I see. Right, thank you. Looks like we won't need Ms. Perkins. I just brought a lady into Georgia Street who lives out in the Silver Lake district.
Yeah.
Found a man going through a purse in the bedroom, tried to stop him from getting away.
Mm-hmm.
He slugged her. We drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital and talked to Dr. Sebastian. He told us that a Mrs. Violet Castle had been brought in for treatment. He said she had a bad bruise on her face and a slight concussion. He also said she hadn't lost consciousness and was able to talk to us.
Miss Castle?
Yes?
Police officers, ma'am.
Okay.
We'd like you to tell us what happened, if you would.
I told the others when they come to get me.
Yes, ma'am. We'd like to hear from you.
Well, he was just standing there by the dresser. I couldn't imagine where he come from.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say anything for a minute. I was too surprised. He didn't seem to know I was in the room. His back was towards me.
What was he doing?
Well, I couldn't tell, not at first. And then I heard a little snap. Just a click.
Mm-hmm.
I realized he was opening my purse.
Yes, ma'am.
Started fumbling at the things inside. I must have moved or something. Anyway, he looked up, saw me in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes opened up real wide, like he was scared. I remember thinking he's more scared than I am.
Did he say anything?
No, sir, not a word. I did all the talking. Told him to put down the purse. Put it down, I said. Tried to sound real sure of myself.
And what happened then?
Dropped the pocketbook, turned around toward me. I don't think he had a gun or anything. If he did, I didn't see it.
Yes, ma'am.
He just started running toward the door. I moved over so as I'd been in his way. Where do you think you're going? I said.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't answer. He just pushed past me. I grabbed at his arm, and that's when he hit me. Here, where the bandage is.
I see.
Must have struck the chair when I fell. The doctor tells me I'm going to have a real bump. Guess everybody will be saying Violet Castle sure got the swell head, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't faint, though. I thought for a minute I was going to, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him run out of the house like I heard a wild horse's the way he pounded out of there. Managed to get to my feet, made it to the telephone in the hall, and called the police.
Mm-hmm.
They sent an ambulance for me. Got there real quick. First time I ever rode in an ambulance.
Is that right?
Oh, I've had my share of sickness. I've been in hospitals and all that, but I never had an ambulance ride before.
Yes,
Siren, too. Siren going all the way down here. Now, I thought I must be pretty bad off. They had to use a siren like that, but the doctor says it's usual.
Mm-hmm.
He told me I'd be up and around again in a few days, be my old self, except for my lump. It'd be a while before a lump like that goes away.
Do you think you could identify the man who hit you, Mrs. Castle?
Identify him?
Well, yes. If we showed you some pictures, could you pick him out?
Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm afraid not.
Oh?
It isn't that I wouldn't know him, you understand, him or his picture. I'm not likely to forget that face.
Well?
Too dark in here for me to look at any pictures. Way too dark. Doctor said they had to leave the blinds down for the time being. Told me not to turn the light on.
I understand.
I'm sorry I can't be more help, but the doctor left strict orders.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll check on it, Joe.
Thank you.
Always believe in following doctor's orders.
Yes, ma'am.
No use paying the doctor unless you do what he tells you. That's how my husband always used to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm not paying anything here, am I? That's what they told me.
Yes, ma'am.
I explained I wasn't a charity case. I got some health and accident insurance. I guess you'd call this an accident, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm not sure. I imagine so.
Dr. Sebastian says it'll be all right to turn the lights on for a few minutes, Joe.
Okay.
Are you sure it's all right?
Yes, ma'am, said so.
Well, he was so positive before about keeping it dark in here.
Well, a couple of minutes probably won't make any difference, Miss Castle.
Well, the doctor says so.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, sure seems bright, don't it?
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you just look through these photos.
I'll do my best. It sure is funny.
How's that?
You getting here so quick and having pictures all ready to show me.
Well, we don't know that we've got his picture here.
Well, that's what's so funny.
Ma'am.
This is him, right here.
Mrs. Castle positively identified one of the mugshots we had shown her. Ralph Foster Maple. Maple had done time for burglary. The three ladies we had previously interviewed also identified the suspect's picture. 3:16 p.m. We went back to the office. The crime lab reported that there were no fingerprints or other physical evidence at Mrs. Castle's home. Frank and I checked the phone books and city directories for Maple's address. There was no listing. We ran DMV for a car registration. They had nothing under his name, but they told us that a Mrs. Ralph F. Maple at 317 Himber Street was the registered owner of a late model Nash sedan. 4:48 p.m. We drove out to interview Mrs. Maple.
Yes?
Mrs. Maple?
Yes?
Your husband in?
My husband?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm afraid you've made a mistake.
Oh?
I'm not married. Not anymore.
Oh, I see. You were married to Ralph Maple?
Yes?
We're police officers.
Oh.
Miss Frank Smith, my name's Friday.
What's he done now?
We'd like to get in touch with him, that's all. You mind if we come in?
Give me a minute to send my daughter over to the neighbors. I'd rather she didn't hear this.
We'll have to come in.
Oh, all right. Over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Go out and play, will you, honey? What is it this time? Burglary again?
We're just trying to reach him, Miss Maple. Do you know where he lives?
No.
Is he still in Los Angeles?
I suppose so. He was here a couple of weeks ago. Came by to see Joanne. She's our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Should have known he was up to something.
Ma'am?
Brought us presents. Expensive presents. Said he had a new job. I didn't really believe him, but I tried to for Joanne's sake.
Did he say what this job was?
Selling. Didn't mention the firm. I suppose he could be a good salesman if he'd try.
Do you have a car?
Told me it was in the shop being repaired. Came up in a taxi cab.
I see.
It's a great one for taxis, Ralph is. Big tipper, too. With somebody else's money. I'm sorry. I guess I sound a little bitter, don't I?
No.
It was my own doing. I knew it was wild when I married him. I thought he'd change. He did. He got worse.
How long you been divorced?
A little over 2 years now. Oh, I waited till he got out of prison. I thought that was my duty, have a home ready for him to come back to.
Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't hold down a job, didn't even try. Well, we'd managed without him while he was in San Quentin. I knew we could do it again. He's supposed to support Joanne. I haven't seen a penny in 6 months. Always brings her a present, though. It's his way of trying to get on the good side.
You know any of his friends who might help us locate him?
His friends aren't my friends, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am.
But you won't have any trouble finding him.
Ma'am?
He'll be here tomorrow.
Oh.
It's Joanne's birthday. He'll bring her something. He'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose he does love her. In his way. Maybe he loves me, too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I love him. I was even thinking about us getting back together. If it was true about his new selling job. I guess you never learn, do you?
You're sure he'll be here tomorrow?
He won't miss Joanne's birthday. Ralph's a very thoughtful father, not the kind of man who forgets birthdays and anniversaries.
I see.
Might forget to pay his bills, but that's different.
Yes, ma'am.
It'll be quite a birthday present for Joanne, won't it?
What's that?
Her father getting arrested again.
The next day, Thursday, April 14th, we staked out Mrs. Maple's house. 3:35 p.m. A taxicab pulled up and Ralph Maple got out. He was carrying a large package.
Keep the change. Thanks, Richter.
Ralph Maple? Police officers, just stand still.
What's going on?
He's light, Joe.
All right, let's go.
Oh, wait a minute. Can't you tell me what this is all about?
We'll let you tell us downtown.
Well, you can't arrest a man without some reason.
Where were you yesterday?
What time?
Let's start with the morning.
Got up, had breakfast, went shopping.
Where?
Department stores, had to buy a present for my daughter. This is it right here.
I take you all morning, did it?
Yeah, most of it.
All right, come on, get in the car.
Well, if you just tell me what it is you want to know.
We want to know about a lady who's in the hospital.
Lady?
Yeah, somebody slugged her yesterday.
You think it was me?
She does. Let's find out if she's right. Come on, Maple.
Okay, she's right.
All right, let's go.
I didn't mean to hit her very hard.
It was hard enough.
Just wanted to get her out of my way.
All right. Get in.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute, huh? What about this?
What about what?
My little girl's present. It's her birthday.
No.
Well, can I give it to her?
You stay where you are.
What about one of you guys? You could take it up to the door. Hey, it's not hot. You can see for yourself. The store wrapped it, see?
Yeah.
I paid for it myself.
With whose money?
Well, least you can do is see that she gets it. Joe?
All right, go ahead.
Here you are.
Be right back.
Sure appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a little girl, 6 today. Wouldn't understand if there wasn't a present from Daddy.
Yeah.
I never missed her birthday. Even when I was in the joint, I saw to it that she got something.
Yeah.
Wife divorced me a couple of years back. I guess I can't blame her.
Yeah.
Not for divorcing me. Had it coming. She shouldn't have got sole custody, though.
Mm-hmm.
A girl needs a father. Everybody talks about how boys need their old man. The way I see it, a girl needs him more.
That's so?
Sure, you know, they're so kind of helpless.
Yeah.
It was on account of her, Joanne. That's the only reason I done it. Little girl's entitled to pretty things. I couldn't afford them, not with the kind of dough that I made.
Yeah.
I had to get the money somewhere. I never stole much, just enough to buy her a few presents. Figured if I didn't, she'd turn against me. Being divorced and all, I figured I had to do more than regular fathers.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have given Dora sole custody. It wasn't fair. She lets me come around and visit whenever I want, but it's sort of like saying Joanne doesn't belong to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Judge claimed I wasn't a fit father. How do you like that? Just because a man does a little time, everybody has it in for him afterward.
Yeah.
The idea is say I'm not a fit father.
You know something, Maple? You proved him right.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 6th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Ralph Foster Maple was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to do great bodily harm is punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years in the state penitentiary.
Just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A pair of hold-up men have been operating in your city. You know their method of operation. You know what they look like. Your job, get them.
It was Wednesday, June 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 10:14 a.m. when we got to the corner of Roberta and Mercury, the after-hours cafe.
Yeah, what'll be?
Like to see Harry Prentice?
Yeah, I'm him. What do you want?
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh, all right. About last night, huh?
Yeah. Were you here?
Yeah, sure was. I'm the only one's got a key. Place is open. I'm here.
Yes, sir. Now about the robbery?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to know?
Would you tell us what happened?
Should have read the papers this morning. All about it in there. Got a couple of copies if you want to see them.
No, that won't be necessary.
No trouble at all. Happen to have a couple of copies right here. Yeah, here, take a look right here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'll read it to you. Last night at the After Hours Cafe, I wish I'd given the address. At the After Hours Cafe, 2 gunmen held up and beat Jeffrey Hanks. The victim was approached outside the bar, and when asked for his money...
Yes, sir. Now, we saw all that. We'd just like to hear your version if we could.
Oh, okay. What do you want to know?
Did you see the men?
The gunmen?
That's right.
Yeah, sure. I told the other cops I did. Gave a description and everything.
Uh-huh. You notice anything about their speech, an accent maybe?
No. I asked them what they wanted. One, a big one, he ordered a scotch and the rocks. The other one asked for plain grapefruit juice, no booze, just the juice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lucky I had it. Got a couple of cans in for vodka drinks. Don't get a lot of call for it. Guy drank all I had.
Mm-hmm. When did the victim come in?
You mean Hanks?
Yeah.
Oh, must have been about 8:30, someplace in there.
Mm-hmm.
Walked in, sat down.
Had you seen him before?
No, brand new face. Nice-looking guy, though. Kind you like to have for regulars.
That's all?
Yeah, quiet, good drinker. Doesn't bother the singles at the bar. Nice, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I had a place full of them. I wouldn't have no worries.
How do you happen to get mixed up with the other two, do you know?
Yeah, you mean Hanks?
That's right.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. Poured him a martini, left him alone.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine, lady type, was here. Was talking to her. Her and her boyfriend been having trouble. We belted her around a little bit. Not bad. Couple of scratches. You know what I mean.
I think so.
Well, she was asking me what to do. We've been friends for a long time, since I opened the place. Anyway, we was talking, so I didn't see what happened.
Yeah.
All I know is that the 3 of them got up and moved to the booth in the back. Ordered another round.
Uh-huh.
I hardly got the drinks back to the table, and they was ready for another one.
Go ahead.
Kept running from the bar to their table for the next couple of hours.
You hear anything they were saying?
No, not much. The one who was drinking scotch, he got a little plastered and loud. Told him a couple of times to shut up. Said I'd have to 86 him if they didn't.
Yeah.
Kept it up, so I told him to leave. Didn't take it kindly.
How do you mean that?
Well, started to get rough, telling me that they didn't have to take no guff from a barkeep.
No.
Well, I told him I wasn't drinking the grapefruit juice. I told him to get his friends out. He says, we're not causing any trouble. And I said, that's the way I want to keep it.
Uh-huh.
So he said for me to leave him alone. And I said to the grapefruit, I said for him to leave right then. I don't want you in my place, I said.
Yeah.
Well, and so Scotch on the rocks, he said, tell this cat to go hide his head. Like that, he said. And turned the bear loose. Well, I grabbed the both of them, threw them out through the door. O-U-T.
Yeah.
And I went back for the other guy, nice-looking one. He was pretty gassed by then. Had about 8 martinis. Asked him to leave. He did.
Yeah. Did you have any trouble with him?
No, sir. Just asked. He walked out.
Were the other two outside when he left?
Yeah, standing on the sidewalk. I told him to shove off. I'd call the cops. Old Scotch on the rocks. He said for me to go soak my head. Well, I was going after him, but I figured it wouldn't do no good, so I came back inside. A couple of minutes later, the nice guy, Hanks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he came in, all beat up, clothes torn, real mess.
Yeah.
Big cut right along here, forehead. Said he'd been robbed, wanted me to call the cops.
Had you ever seen either of the two men before?
You mean Scotch and rocks and Griffin?
That's right.
No, never did.
What if you take a look at this description, see if it's right? Here.
Yeah, sure. Glad to help her. Yeah, that looks about right.
Is there anything you can add to it?
No, just a couple of guys. At the bottom would stand out.
Would you know him if you saw him again?
Hard to say, you know what I mean.
Yes.
A couple of guys came in and ordered a drink. Nothing special. Not sure I could point them out for you. Anybody'd forget them.
Not quite.
Huh?
We won't. A.m. We left the bar and went back to the city hall. We checked with the stats office and picked up the results of their latest run. They listed 4 possibles, but when we read the names, we were no closer to the hold-up men than we had been. The names were ones that we checked and cleared before. Frank and I went back to robbery. There was a message for us to see Captain Donahoe. We went into his office.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. No, as far as I know, there's nothing new on it. That's right. Uh-huh. They just came in. What? All right. I'll let you know right away. Yeah. Bye. Come on in.
Hi, Skipper.
Captain. That was Chief Brown. Been calling all morning.
Yeah.
You know what he wants? What do I tell him?
Well, we talked to the bartender. He can't give us anything.
What about the victim?
Not much there either.
Able to come up with a name?
No, said he didn't hear anything.
That's a big help.
Well,
sit down.
Thank you.
Cigarette?
Yeah, thanks, Skipper.
Smith?
Yes.
I got it.
Thanks, Joe.
From the beginning, what do you got?
Well, good M.O., good description. We got an idea of a line they're working, and that's about it.
What about staffs?
Just picked up the new run, 4 names.
What's on them?
Clean. They all been checked before.
Got to be something around town on them.
Well, there should be, but there just isn't.
How about your informants?
No, they haven't been able to tell us anything.
Straight?
No reason they should lie.
Victims and witnesses seen the mug books?
All we got. They haven't been able to come up with an identification. Burton up at CII sent all the stuff he's got on the method of operation. We've checked it all through.
What about the places they could spend the money?
Well, we've been to Gardena half a dozen times. There's nothing out there.
What about Vegas?
Talked to the department over there. They're giving us all the help they can, but they haven't turned anything yet. We even got the racetracks covered.
Possible you missed something?
Sure, it's possible. I don't know what it could be.
If you knew, you wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah.
From the beginning, go over it.
Okay. First report was made on, wait a minute. Got it here. Here it is. Tuesday, April 26th. Victim came out of the bar. 2 men stopped him, started a conversation, got him into a car, beat him, and robbed him.
6 weeks ago.
That's right.
And the guys are still running.
Next one was on Friday, April 29th. Same M.O., same description.
How often has it been happening since?
A couple of times a week.
You can't find a leak?
No, sir.
No rumbles?
None that we haven't run down.
Anybody in the office got anything?
We talked to Meade and Stromwell. They thought they had it made for us, but their lead didn't go anyplace.
That money they're getting isn't sitting in their pockets, being spent someplace.
We can't find the cash register.
I'll tell you this. The fellow they nailed last night, what's his name?
Pipper Hanks.
Yeah. Well, he's got some friends in the city hall. They're pretty upset about what happened. Called the chief this morning. He's been on me. I'm giving it to you. He won't be happy with excuses, and I don't want to give him any, so don't hand me any.
Right.
Boils down simple. I don't care how you do it. I don't care where. Just get it done. I want those 2 men, and I want them fast.
Right.
I know how it is. Now you do, too.
Yes, sir.
I don't like the pressure any more than you do. We're getting it all the way around.
People that are making the noise should follow us around for a couple of days.
That's the difference. They don't have to.
Huh?
You're getting paid.
Frank and I went over every piece of information we had on the case. We reread the reports that had been filed by the officers at the scene. Statements from witnesses and victims were gone over again. The names the staff's office had given us were run through R&I again. None of it did any good. We still didn't have a lead to the identity of the thieves. 3 days passed while we talked to informants and questioned other sources of information. On Sunday, June 12th, we got back to the office from talking to a bartender out on Olympic Boulevard.
Well, that's another one didn't go anyplace.
Yeah, you want to get the book?
Yeah, I'll take one.
I got it. Robbery Friday. Uh-huh. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, where's the place? Hmm? Wait a minute. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I guess the word's all over. Yeah. Okay, we'll check it out. Thanks, boy. Right, bye.
There's nothing in the book. They called, want to know if you could make it for dinner tonight. Got a barbecue plan.
You better call it off.
You got other plans?
That was McCready on the phone. He just got a call from a bartender out in Wilshire.
Yeah?
Woman crying in her beer. Says he figured we want to check it out.
What is it?
She said her boyfriend is one of our suspects. The bar Sergeant Jack McCready had mentioned was on the corner of Wilshire Boulevard and Ingram Street. There were 2 people in the place when we arrived. One, an elderly man sitting near the door, and the other, a middle-aged woman at the rear of the bar. We checked with the bartender, and he told us that he'd made the call. He went on to say that the woman had come in about 10 that morning. Since that time, she'd been crying and mumbling something about going to the police. Frank and I went back to talk to her.
Yeah? You're looking for something?
I understand that you want to talk to the police.
What's that got to do with you?
Well, my name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
How you do?
You're cops, huh?
What do you want to see us about, lady?
That bum Derwin, that's what it's about, bum.
That's his name, is it, Derwin?
Yeah, real no good. Look what he done to me all the time, didn't me? I think we was married all the time.
What's his last name, do you know?
Holbrook. Derwin Holbrook. You like to buy me a drink?
I think you had enough of that, lady.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I'm supposed to show you don't know what you're talking about. And then you wanted to me at all. You haven't caught Derwin, none.
What's he done?
Hold up.
Ma'am?
Hold up. That's what he's done. All over town. Old Derwin's been holding people up.
See your husband?
Me? Derwin's wife?
That's right.
That's real funny. No, that is. Me and Derwin married. I don't think I wouldn't do it. Not for a minute, don't think it. But it ain't true. Not at all. No, sir. Derwin is just a friend.
Uh-huh.
Been a friend for 12 years. That's a long time.
That's right.
Been holding hands for 12 years. We ain't married. You don't want to.
Will you tell us about the holdups that he's been pulling?
Been in all the papers. Oh, you haven't read it? All the papers. Are you sure you were cops?
Why don't you tell us about Derwin?
Lousy. All the time. Talking about how someday we'd get married. All the time. Talking like that. I got a couple of bucks put away and we'll take the big step. That's what he was all the time saying. It was a big step.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Here's a couple of bucks and he takes off with another girl. Lousy bum there was. He's miserable.
Now, where'd he get the money?
Hold up. Like on the paper. I told you that before. He's the one you're after, beating up all those people in front of bars. He's pretty good at beating people up, you know. He's good at that. Not much else, but he's real good at that.
You ever talked about the holdups to you?
Oh, now, that'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Talking to anybody, let alone me.
Well, how do you know he's involved?
Well, just because I know, that's all.
What's this fellow look like?
The Derwin?
That's right.
I guess the person would say she was a real nice-looking fellow. I guess that's what you'd say. I would.
Mm-hmm.
He's got dark hair. Kind of a little wave right here. Here? See?
Yeah.
In front. Little wave.
Mm-hmm. How tall is he?
Oh, he's a big one.
Well, how tall?
About 6 feet.
Mm-hmm. How much does he weigh?
I don't know. I guess a couple of 100 pounds.
Is he fat or thin?
Kind of thin. Thin.
Mm-hmm. How old is he?
38. 38 years old. 2 years older than me. 2 years.
What color are his eyes?
Brown.
Has he ever been arrested?
Hmm?
I say, has he ever been arrested?
I don't know. Maybe he has. He's never said nothing to me, not a word.
Want to run it through? Yeah, I'll check.
You going to arrest him?
We'll talk to him.
Yeah. You do that. You tell him from me I think he's a bum. For 12 years, he's been telling me when he gets a couple of bucks, we take a step. Then he runs out with another girl, lousy Derwin.
You know where we can find him?
I don't know. I guess he's home. I don't know the place else he'd be. Home.
Mm-hmm. You have the address?
Sure. It's 1827 half Margot Street.
What's that?
Can't you hear very well? 1827 and a half Margot Street.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Hillside 75321. That's where he lives.
Hillside 75321.
That's what I said. On the second floor, Margot Street.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any close friends that you know of?
Sure, the girl he walked out with. She's a close friend.
Any men?
Nope. Stern don't like nobody on his back. He likes to be alone. No fellas he's close to. None.
John. Yeah. Excuse me a minute, lady.
Oh, yeah, sure. You go to ahead. Tell the bartender to have another drink now.
What do you got?
Oh, I checked R&I on Holbrook.
How's he stand?
Found a couple that fit the description. One of them might be good.
Oh.
Done time for robbery.
Do you owe anything?
No, got out clean.
Wonder if he stayed that way. Frank and I left the bar and drove over to the Margot Street address. We checked with the landlady. She told us that Holbrook had moved in approximately 6 weeks before. She went on to say that he'd been behind in his rent, but that he'd paid what he owed and had given her the money for an additional 2 months. She said that she didn't know what he did for a living. He had few visitors, and the landlady couldn't tell us if he owned a car. According to her, he was in his room. Frank and I went up to see him.
Here it is.
Yeah.
You said?
No. Holbrook?
Just a minute.
What do you want?
Police officer.
Hey! You got no right to bust in here like this. There's nothing wrong.
Then you won't mind if we look around, will you?
Oh, go ahead. You won't find anything.
I'll check it, Joe.
No. Tell me what you want. Maybe I can give you a hand.
You just sit still there.
Sure, I got nothing to worry about. Tear the place apart. Just make sure you put it all back.
Yeah.
Right where you found it.
It's clean, Joe.
I could have told you that.
Sure you could.
Want to let me know why you're rousting me?
You work for a living?
Why?
Do you?
No.
Well, we hear it. You're doing pretty well with the money.
I guess you'd say that.
You mind telling us where you got it?
Wise investment.
That's it, huh?
Sure. I read the financial page all the time. A couple of bucks here, a couple more there. First thing you know, you're on your way to $1 million.
Yeah, well, the way it came to us, you might have made the money the hard way.
Whoever told you that's a liar.
So?
Sure. I got a pretty good idea who's got the big mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make any difference. You can't tag me for anything.
Why don't you tell us?
I will. You're beefing about the money. Well, you can't say I didn't make it from investments. I don't have to prove it. You do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to prove I didn't make it from investing.
I think we might be able to.
Go ahead.
I'll give you something else.
What?
I don't think you're going to like the interest. We took Derwin Holbrook back to the city hall and talked to him. For over an hour, he refused to admit any part in the holdups. We made arrangements for the victims to come down and see him. Witnesses were asked to special show-ups, but they failed to give us a positive identification. Holbrook's name came up on the overtime sheet, and he was released from custody. There was nothing we could do. Another week went by. Holbrook was kept under constant surveillance. Monday, June 20th. Frank and I were in the squad room.
Righty? Smith?
Yeah, Skipper, we're here.
Hi, Captain. What do you got? Your boys did another job last night out in West L.A.
We didn't see the reports.
Just came in. Got a meeting with Orma this afternoon. Be there.
Homicide?
Yeah. Victim died without regaining consciousness.
Any description of the suspect?
Enough to know it's the two fellows you're after. How's your hot suspect? What's his name? Holbrook?
That's right.
Be able to keep him this time?
No, I don't think so.
What's the matter?
Report says the holdup took place at 10:15.
Yeah?
Holbrook was asleep at 9. We rechecked with the team of men who'd been keeping Derwin Holbrook under surveillance. They verified the fact that the suspect had been in his room at the time of the robbery and that there was no way for him to have left the apartment. We went out to the hospital and talked to the officer that had been with the latest victim. He said that the dead man hadn't said anything to help identify his assailant. We talked with the bartender at the place where the beating had occurred. He remembered 2 men in the bar, and he remembered them talking with the victim, but he was unable to tell us anything more. Additional broadcasts were gotten out. At the meeting with Captain Lorman, it was decided that from that point, the investigation would be a joint operation between robbery and homicide. After the meeting, Frank, Captain Donahoe, and I met back in room 27.
Come on in. Sit down.
Yep.
Well, you heard it. Yes. How are you going to work it?
There's only one way, rolling stakeout.
Thought you tried that route.
This time we used more cars.
Better work. This latest one's really got the corner pocket screaming. How are you going to set it up?
Well, that job out in West L.A. is the first time he's moved out of Central. I think we can figure he'll be back.
That's playing it the long way.
There's nothing left.
I'll buy it. How's it going to work?
Can we take a look at the map over here? He's been hitting in this area along here. Up to now, we've had it covered in through here and here. Now, we can put additional cars on these streets and maybe over here, huh?
How about a check system?
It'll be kind of hard to work out, Skipper. We'll be in a 3-way car. McCready and his partner will be in one. And that way, we can keep tabs on what's going on.
When do you start?
Well, if we can swing it tonight.
Talk to McCready?
No, not the whole thing. We went over part of it.
What's he think?
He goes with us. It's the only way.
Then it better come through for you.
Hmm?
You don't get another chance.
At 7:20 that night, the rolling stakeout began. It continued for another week. Several arrests were made, but when the suspects were checked, they were ruled out as the ones that we were looking for. In the meantime, the hold-up men hit twice more in the area under surveillance. Bartenders started closing their places early. Pressure from citizens groups and newspapers got a little worse. Apparently, there was nothing we could do to stop the thieves. Tuesday, June 28th. We stopped for something to eat.
Now it's going to be another long night.
I hope we get something out of it.
Yeah. Howdy, fellers. What'll it be?
Well, a couple of eggs over easy. I get it. A side order of bacon.
Well, thank you. Now, how about you?
Yeah, sounds good, Joe. I'll have the same. Only make my eggs straight up, will you? And I'll have a side order of ham.
Righto.
And 2 coffees. We bring them right away?
Sure thing. I'll get them for you right now.
Listen, I got to get home.
I'll have a cup of coffee. I'll drop you off.
Wife's going to be sore if I don't make it pretty quick.
Well, let her be sore. That's the trouble with women today. All the time trying to run our lives.
That's right.
Have your coffee. We'll meet my friend. You'll like him.
feel so good. Maybe I ought to leave now.
Look, you'll be all right. Just take it easy.
Joe. Mm-hmm. Tall guy. Fits the description. Looks like he might be setting one up. Let's check it.
Like you any trouble, stay with us. Some you want?
What if you let us take a look at your identification?
Why?
Because I asked you.
Who are you?
Police officer.
Watch out.
Come on.
Shoving me around.
What's all this about? We didn't do nothing.
Now, don't worry about it.
You got nothing to hold me on. Nothing.
We'll talk about it downtown. Come on, let's go.
What's your charge? You got to make one.
Come on.
You got to make a charge. You can't take me without it.
All right, try suspicion of robbery.
Not for me.
You keep believing that, fella.
I will. You're out on a limb, cop. You got nothing. I'll be free in a couple hours.
You got it wrong.
Tell me about it.
We won't have to.
Huh?
We'll let the jury do it. We took the suspect back to the city hall. He was identified as Emmett Noonan. He refused to admit any part in the holdups. He wouldn't tell us who the friend was that he'd mentioned to the intended victim. A check of R&I revealed that he'd served sentences at San Quentin and at Folsom for armed robbery. We pulled his mug shot, and a team of detectives went out to check with the victims. It was an hour before they got back to the office. We talked to him, and then we went to see Noonan.
Decide to turn me out now?
No, not quite.
When are you going to give up, cop? You got nothing to make a charge on. You know it. I don't know how long you want to play this game, but I'd like to get home and get some sleep.
We just got word from the officers who checked your picture with the victims.
Yeah? They gave us a positive identification.
Nothing different about me. Lots of guys look the same.
Why don't you come off at noon? We got you made and you know it.
I don't know anything of the kind, cop. You're saying one thing, I say different. It's my word against yours. We'll see who the court believes.
We got a head start.
How do you figure that?
Fits the way you work.
Any record I got, you can't mention in court. As far as they're concerned, I'm clean. You want to call it a day? We can all get some sleep.
What do you do for a living, Noonan?
I'm a salesman.
What do you sell?
Different things.
Name them.
Magazines, sometimes hosiery. Different things.
Yeah, when's the last time you worked?
6 months ago.
How have you lived since then?
I saved my money.
You know, you're in for more than a robbery charge.
I'm not standing that.
Man out in West L.A. died.
That's too bad. I didn't see anything about it in the papers. Only way I'd have known.
Who was the guy with you on the job?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know we'll get to him. Why not save yourself a lot of time?
I don't know nothing of the kind. You guys are out of your skulls.
All right, Noonan. Let's go.
Now you can unlock the door?
Yeah, this one.
Where are we going?
Main jail.
For how long?
Until they pass sentence.
You sound pretty sure.
We are. Come on.
It's too bad about you guys.
What's that?
How long you been working on these robberies?
A couple of months.
And I'm your pigeon.
You're the man.
Must make you feel kind of lousy. Be so sure and then find out you're wrong. You know, if I keep my mouth shut, you aren't going to have a case.
You know, fella, I'm going to tell you real simple. We can identify you positively. We got a dozen people who are going to get up on a stand and point you out as the man who knocked them down and walked on them. The time we get through with you, we'll have enough on you for a 5-minute deliberation.
You're ruling out one thing, cop.
Yeah, what's that?
The jury. All I need is one person who won't go with the rest of them. One who doesn't listen.
You got it all figured out.
Sure. One person doesn't care, I got it made. Just one.
Well, then you're in real trouble.
Huh?
We'll find 12 who do.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 19th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Further investigation resulted in the arrest of Jerome Nathan Pollock as an accomplice in the robberies. Both he and Emmett David Noonan were tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. The jury failed to return a recommendation of leniency, and both men received the maximum sentence. They were put to death in the lethal gas chamber at the State Penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.